What's up, everybody? To my Arsenio Hall. What happened to him, anyways? What's going on? Who wants some butt bongos tonight? Because I got them. I got them.
Sexy times.
Welcome back. It's my Friday free-for-all. No, it's just the hangout. Did you guys miss me last Friday? I wasn't here. I'm sorry I didn't give too much of a notice about it. But as I've told you in the past, if I'm not here on a Friday night, it's for a really good reason, always. And that reason would be that I'm either on tour or on the road, or I'm in the studio. And on Friday, Matt called me up, Matt Thorne from Piercy DeMartini and the Stephen Pearcy solo band, and he has his awesome MT Studios up in Burbank, and he asked if I'd come up on Friday to work on a live rehearsal set, which is similar to what they do in the other band with Warren, but their version has different endings and different players on it. So we wanted to have tracks that we could like practice to at home. So I basically made my way up there. We spent the day fixing up some of the live, drums and everything, so we had the right endings. And then, geez, it must have been like around 1 a.m. We're finally like, all right, let's do what we would normally do. You on bass, me on guitar. We rolled through the set for the upcoming Piercy shows that start in April. And I can't even tell you guys how excited I am to get back on the road. I've been off just here in Oceanside since September of 2025. So no shows this entire time. That is my main source of income. And it was just like, whew, I was just on a hiatus, I guess. But the good thing is that during that hiatus, I started building this channel up, Erik Ferentinos Unleashed. And I appreciate all of you that have come back on Friday nights. I appreciate everybody that's coming to the Fright Bites. We had a lot of fun, Dahlia Dark and I, this past St. Patrick's Day. I hope you guys got to check that out. But before I start flapping here, let me get into some comments and say hi to you guys tonight on this momentous return to the Unleashed. What do we got here? Kevin Smith, y'all. Missed you last week. I will probably catch the replay, but just wanted to see that you're doing okay. Give me a DLR and a sexy times. Cheers, brother. Well, Kevin, I can do that for you. Here's your Roth. Here's your sexy times.
Hey, bud. Let's party.
And let's get this party going. All right, enough of that. Let's put it back to my handsome face here. Jay Lee, glad the show is back, and we all miss you very much. Oh, well, thank you. It's good to be missed. Being missed is better than being dodged. Let me tell you. Daddy Goth, greetings and salutations. I know Daddy Goth's been at all the Fright Bites this past month. We got a new Fright Biter on our team, which is super awesome. What? Spicoli, fire it up. Oh, he wants some DLR too. Where you getting it? Spicoli's like one of my top dudes, fans of the channel, and of course, friend on the socials.
I know that, dude.
I know that dude, and yeah. What else do I have for him?
Relax. All right?
Yeah, relax, Spicoli. I got you. Jerome Davis loves you. Eric, I like your Metallica shirt. Yeah. Throwing back a little Damaged Incorporated. Or is that Battery? I can't remember the original. I mean, truth be told, this is like, I bought this at Walmart for not much. This was like a cheap. I mean, that's what's cool, that these shirts back 40 years ago would have been worth a mint. But now that our Gen Xers are all old and stuff, now they're just like giving them away at Walmart for like $5, which is, I'll still wear it. I mean, this takes me back to a awesome time in my life. I'm proud to wear the early Metallica stuff. You guys know that. Olivia, Eric, you were extremely missed, and my Friday just wasn't the same without watching you on Unleashed. Oh, that's super sweet. I'm gonna have to give you a pretty
Yeah, pretty
princess.
princess.
Thank you. Spicoli badass Metallica shirt. Master! Master! Oh, master of t-shirts is wearing the shirt. Spicoli, oh yeah, Chuck Norris died. Oh, that's not good. I mean, he was old though, right? I mean, I'll say this: Chuck Norris definitely an American treasure, for sure, and been around my entire life. Of course, seen him in what Enter the Dragon might have been the first time I saw him. One of those Bruce Lee movies, and I followed his career this whole time, even the infomercial sports stuff he did. I loved watching him and his lady do all that. His TV shows that he had. I mean, what a Hollywood success. And he seemed like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't seem like he was one of them. Like I'm hoping Chuck Norris wasn't like eating babies and, you know, making sacrifices to Moloch or what. You know what I mean? He seemed like he wasn't that way. But then today I was looking and I saw him giving the whoa, and I'm all, oh. But there was a time when everybody was doing that in the late 70s, early 80s. It was like the AOK, and now it's like the Illuminati, the brr. So, I mean, he's kind of in a club, but anyways, 86 years old. We could all just hope we live a healthy life. I thought he was doing great right up till recently. I don't know exactly what happened to him. Like maybe his family will share it. They didn't seem like they wanted to, but definitely give a little. What could I do for Chuck today? That's appropriate. I have a bunch of frightbite stuff here. Well, I'm just gonna give him a Roth scream. That's the best I can do. When in doubt, just throw a Roth scream and hope for the best. Let's see. Steel Corner 27. Hell yeah, bud. Can't wait for those shows too. I think I'll make 3 of them so far. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I'm super stoked. The first one we have is like a private show in San Antonio, and it was just so cool to like get my tickets. Like you don't know if you're really gonna be there until your plane tickets are purchased. You know, I got those. Actually, got an itinerary, and it wasn't given to me, an hour before my flight. It's actually given to me weeks ahead of time. I like that. We have a new tour manager, is the real deal. I haven't got to meet him personally yet. His name's David, and I'm hearing nothing but rave reviews that he's super nice. And this is what he does. He doesn't have anything else he does. This is it. He's focused on Steven and the band, and that's a relief. And I've heard other comments like, "Oh, it's nice to have somebody professional finally," working for us. So that part's handled, and I'm stoked that this show's going down. It's going to be a blast. And then in May, even more gigs start popping off with like LA Guns and Sebastian Bach and some cool stuff. So I'll be sharing some of that with you guys, of course. Now, it's Jimmy Minkton. Hey, Eric, new subscriber from Toronto. Well, hello, sir. And I'm well aware that I got fans in Canada, and I'm stoked, to have you. And thanks for being here. Also, I'm having trouble with the YouTube store just because the names aren't matching up. I'm confused on something I did, and every lead to the letter has to be perfect on there. So the store's not up yet, but I do have, and do I have my banners going here? Hopefully I did. Okay, yeah, here. Oh, no. Yep. Okay, Erik Ferentinos Unleashed.com. That's not hard to remember, right? It's the name of this channel. erikferentinos Unleashed.com. If you go there, we do have the Frightbite posters available through Shopify, and they're autographed. Already sent a couple of those out, and our peeps got them. So pretty stoked on that. So if any merch, I'm going to also do guitar picks coming up here in the next month or so. Just go to that website, and the Shopify's there, and I'll let you guys know when the store gets hooked up. He reminded me that I added Canada as a territory that I'm shipping to. I'm slowly doing that till I find out how much it costs everywhere to send out. But Canada and the US, we're sending those posters out. So Spicoli is showing some love. It's for the weed fund, y'all.
What are you people? On dope?
Yes, we're on dope, sir. How else are we going to get through these crazy times? Spicoli, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Jerome Davis loves Disney. LOL. Hope not. Yikes. We could get one famous person who was normal, right? Yeah. No, Chuck Norris was a really good role model for kids. Like, you never saw him doing drugs, never saw him drinking, never saw him saying stupid stuff. I really couldn't tell you if he's a Democrat, a Republican, a Libertarian. I couldn't tell you. I really don't know. He just seemed that he was all about fitness and, maximizing his energy and efforts. You know what I mean? And, I mean, he's just one of those American icons that young people could were able to look up to through my whole lifetime, and those people should definitely be cherished and remembered. Let me see here, Spicoli. What do you think about Steel Panther? Death to all but metal. I thought that Juliette Lewis was hilarious when she thought he was saying butt metal, like as a genre of music, butt metal. Do you guys see that? That's in the beginning of the video, right? I thought that was hilarious. Woo! I like Juliette Lewis. She's badass. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Jerome Davis. I'm gonna bounce anybody that's in here talking about kids. Yeah. So, anywho, am I caught up on the comments so far? Can I get my show rolling? Yeah, I think so. Well, God, which direction should I go with my week? Should I go backwards? Should I go forward? Should I try to go back as far as I can? You guys haven't really talked to me in like 2 weeks. I'm thinking like I kind of want to go backwards, and then maybe I'll remember. Last night I was up in Pomona because we had a Pump Five rehearsal, one of our last rehearsals that's going to happen before I head out on the road with them. I'm in 3 bands right now, guys. I'm playing for stephenpearcy, which I've been doing for this is going on my 25th year. Now, also, there's 2 Pomona bands that I'm playing in. One is the Project that I know you guys love, and then another band that's also produced by Dennis Hill, and they're called Pump Five. And these guys have been around since the 90s. Steve Barnett, awesome singer. I love the band. They're great dudes. They go out and tour all over the U.S. and they got some shows with Texas Hippie Coalition coming up in April, just in like 2.5 weeks. And I've been heading up there to rehearse with them and get my stuff together. Last night was pretty cool because I actually used my Splawn amp. Usually on these flyouts, I'm taking out my Tonex that has like a profile for my Splawn amp. I don't want to get too technical for the people who don't know about amps and all that stuff, but I was having trouble. Like the noise gate on the Tone X is a little much. Like it's so like for guitar players, you know what I'm talking about when you want to not go full clean mode, but you want to take your gain down on your guitar, the volume, and just bring it down to a nice place where you can get some clean sound. And if a song kind of starts with a little bit of clean, you can do that. Well, with the Tone X, like whenever I would bring it down there, it would it would like try to suck it down, and it was kind of an issue on some of these Pump Five songs. And then I go, what am I doing? These guys are taking my equipment out there. They're going to actually bring my Splawn amp with them to the first Deadhead to the first gig on this 5-show run. So why am I bothering with the Tone X? I got the real Splawn amp there. So sure enough, I went in. It sounded so good to play through a real amp and have the bells and whistles. There's a cool like foot switch that comes with the Splawn to have like a few overdrives, a clean, a lead boost. I mean, that thing's awesome. Then I was able to use some real pedals, delay and chorus through the loop. And man, the throw just came out of the amp, and it was just it's what that band needed. So on this run of shows, I'm going just straight into the amp because the amp's there. And I would do that if we were on like an actual tour with Piercy. I would take my actual amp and play through it. I wouldn't do the modeling thing. But it's nice to have as a backup, like if my amp does blow a fuse or a tube or something that can happen every so often. The Tonex is nice that I could go, yo, yo, sound guy, give me a direct box. And then just, and it's right there, you know, and that thing's only, that Tonex thing's just a small box, you know, it doesn't take up much real estate. So, anywho, yeah, they're just a loud rock band that have great songs, and it was fun. We had a good time last night, and you know, I feel like I've gotten to know those guys a little more. This is probably like, geez, I don't know, maybe the 10th time we've jammed together. So we feel like we know each other. We could kind of cut up and laugh a little. So I think we're gonna have a great time. I took advantage of the fact that I have all these miles from like the Piercy band that I don't typically use. The only time I was ever using any miles was to fly Susan's kids out for like Christmas or something, which it's because like, as you know, if you have family and you want to visit around Christmas, it's always like super expensive. And so to just help her out, I would use like my Delta miles to bring, you know, her son or daughter out here, and that was the only thing I was really using them for. And these guys are hardcore road dogs, like Pump Five. They're gonna drive for like 2 days to get out to the first show, and I was like, As much as I'd love to do that, I'm like, I think I'm gonna use some of my miles, and so they were kind enough. They're gonna pick me up from the airport. They don't get in till day of the show. I snatched a direct Southwest flight to Kansas City, Missouri, where the first gig is. I think it's Knuckleheads is the first gig, and that is going to be on Thursday, April 9th. Yeah. So, anyways, they're gonna pick me up from the airport around noon. Sound checks like 3, and we're playing our first of like, I think it's 5 gigs, including this one family event that we're doing for Steve on the last day, and then I'll fly back, and then got the Piercy show later this month. So that's pretty exciting. I think I just gave Steve some video from rehearsal too. He might even post a little clip of us going through some stuff or what have you. So, anywho, moving along, the next thing I'll go to was St. Patrick's Day. Did you guys have a good St. Patrick's Day? I joked around that like only non-Irish people celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I don't even know exactly which friends of mine are Irish, but I don't think they care as much. It seems like non-Irish people all insist on doing something for St. Patrick's Day. I don't even know if Dahlia's Irish, but I know she had spent some time in Ireland, and she has like a growing fan base. One of her characters she does on the show is Siobhan O'Rain, which is our Cebu news and weather correspondent in Northern Ireland. So obviously for St. Patrick's Day, she's like, "Yo, I want to go all out on St. Patrick's Day." So oh, what am I doing here? Let me remove that. And then here we go. She wanted to go all out for St. Patrick's Day. And so even though I've been busy with other stuff, I felt like I couldn't let Dahlia down. And so I worked pretty hard in the 24 hours like leading up to the show. This was our thumbnail, which included, what did I call this guy? It was Lucky McLimerick. No, sorry, Shady. This was Shady McLimerick, which I had to create this guy at the last minute, and I used him for the thumbnail. This photo is real. I have a bunch of photos that Dolly and I did when she was over here, where we posed for a bunch of pictures, and then I have them for thumbnails in the future. And we're gonna do more of that stuff. It's just cool to get a bunch and have them, and not have to stress on making thumbnails. But for this thing, I knew I was going to have to create a real leprechaun for this episode. So I came up with Shady McLimerick. And I'll definitely play a little bit of that frightbite for you guys that didn't see it. But the coolest thing that she did was she got a real leprechaun named Mike Cook, who's a professional actor. And he's been on Jesse James' show. She had mentioned a bunch of film work that he's done. He's been in movies, and she hobnobs with some famous people. She's a professional actress, so over the years she knows some peeps. You know what I mean? And for this, she got Mike to do it's kind of like a cameo, I guess, intro. But I thought we could watch part of the St. Pat's Fright Bite, specifically the bits that I gotta like film ahead of time. I kind of have a somewhat original way of doing the show where we're a mix. The Fright Bite's like a mix of a live show, which it is live, as you guys that come to it know. But then there's aspects of it because we have no other actors involved or actresses. It's just Dahlia Dark and myself. We play every character on the show, which I also think is cool. We're not the first people to do that, but I love the idea of that. It's just her and I, and we for this I forgot where I was going. I'm just gonna play this. Check this out.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. This is Mike Cook, and you're watching Frightbite with Count Dracula and Dolly Dark, exclusively on Erik Ferentinos Unleashed.
What was that? The phone? Hang on a second. Dracula, Dahlia, happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy
Hey,
St.
Doctor.
Patrick's Day.
Great job last week apprehending tongue blood and rat bone.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Got to give you kudos. That's why you get paid the big vampire dollars.
Yep.
Am I right?
You're right.
Am I right?
You're right.
Sure.
Well, anywho, Dr. Ivana Howell and I have come up with a few St. Patrick's Day serums. And
I don't like
one
it
is
already.
going to be for your health, and the other is just a precautionary measure. You see, one of our Irish operatives, a leprechaun named Shady McLimerick,
What?
he loves to cause mischief, and
Sometimes Dahlia doesn't even know what I'm talking about. Like, she doesn't even know what's going to happen on these. She hasn't seen them before the show, so she'll start laughing just because she's like, "Oh my god!" She didn't.
he
Shady
can wreak
McLimerick.
pure havoc.
Great.
And he's basically been known to harass super vampires. And we can't have anything bad happen to our favorite star vampire child.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, I meant Dahlia, of
What?
course.
Am I in any danger
No, no,
here?
no, 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 no. We're here to help. This serum is to give you a vampire power-up. And it'll help you defeat Scowljaw.
Who? Scowljaw? Who's Scowljaw?
Scowljaw is an ancient Irish demon from another dimension.
Oh,
And this serum, this vampire power-up, is going to help you blast him right back there. If he even shows up. We don't know. As I said, it's just a precautionary measure. But the other one is actually for your health, and you should probably look into it and take it as well. And Dr. Ivana Howell is going to tell you all about that, and then I'll get those serums right over to you.
all right.
Good evening, Count Dracula.
Hello, Dr.
This
Howell.
is Dr.
Hi, Doctor.
Ivana Howell, wishing you and Dahlia Dark
Dr. Ivana Howell. I love that so much.
a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. The bars are going to be giving away excessive alcohol for St. Patrick's Day. I have created a special super serum. We combined vitamins and antioxidants with extra hydrating molecules. And voila! This serum will combat any damage to your cells and prevent hangover.
Oh, hangover.
You will also have extra
Dr. Ivana Howell made me a hangover serum in case Count Dracula went out drinking on St. Patrick's Day. That's nice.
energy to exercise or perhaps take a walk under the moonlight.
Oh, well, that's good.
Nice.
Well, I must get going. It was very, very lovely to speak with you, Count Dracula.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's
Dahlia.
Day.
Happy St. Patrick's.
Well, enjoy St. Patrick's Day and avoid the leprechauns at all costs.
No doubt.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, here we go. I'm going to transport him over. You ready?
Ready.
Here you go. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. Get those. Have yourselves a happy St. Patrick's Day.
All right.
And be careful.
We will.
Thanks for all you do for our country.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, one thing I wanted to say, we'll watch a little more of this, but like for those parts, like we're interacting with these pre-recorded parts, so like that could go either way. And being that I'm editing this stuff like day of show makes it like super sketchy, but I love it. Like I really do love doing it, and I think it's funny. I think it's original how we're going about this podcast. I know there's probably podcasts out there where they dress as a monster or do, whatever, but this is like a consistent, we go on all these missions, Dahlia and Count Cracula all the time. We have these little side missions and stories going on. And then we have, of course, the kind of just typical late night show, like, late night with the vampire Conan O'Brien type thing mixed in with this actual live action thing. It was ambitious. It was an ambitious move, especially to do it on a weekly basis when I'm playing in 3 bands. I got all this stuff going on. We start to think about what we're probably going to do on a Sunday or a Saturday. And then by Monday, we know we got to start pre-recording the bits ahead of time. She does all her bits. She films at her place and then sends them to me, but she has like a green screen behind her. So I have to then, edit everything, get the levels of her voice and everything up to par. And there's a lot. It's like a lot of hours to do just these small 5-minute thing. I probably spend 12 or 15 hours editing, or everything from filming it to the editing to getting it loaded up into StreamYard so I could live hit a button and then get a phone call from Dr. Von Brainscan and take it. So it's involved. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to here. Well,
Wow.
yeah,
They are loading
How do
you
I
up
get
on the
this in?
serums count.
wait, hold on. Add the page.
You have.
Is that a knock at the door? Wait.
Allow me to introduce myself.
This is the leprechaun that I created for the show. This is Shady McLimerick.
I'm Shady McLimerick.
Oh, no.
Alrighty then, I got a little St. Patrick's Day limerick riddle for you. There once was a thing dressed in green, on this day quite often seen. I've 3 leaves, not 4, though folks search for more. What lucky plant I be, unseen? Get the riddle wrong, and you're going to get to meet Scourgejaw.
It's a shamrock.
Ah! Oh, yeah.
Okay
Cross.
then, what be your answer?
Shamrock. Shamrock. It's a shamrock.
Good night.
Will the luck of the Irish be with you today because you got it right?
What?
Yes.
You mean
yes.
I drank that for nothing?
You've been sparred from the grips of Scourgejaw.
Oh, God
Thank
damn
God.
it. I just
Happy
went...
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, yeah.
And may the road rise to meet you.
Oh, man. Damn. Dahlia, get your
Oh,
cross
gosh.
out.
I'm so glad we were being spared. This.
That this little thing right here is actually from my friend Robbie, who lends me a lot of these masks and stuff. I've known Rob for like probably 35 plus years, maybe more. But he's a great artist and sculptor, and he's worked in monster mask factories and stuff. He even worked at the Real Doll Factory. That's a side note. But he's where I've been getting like these cool things, like the werewolf costume and pretty much any character that was a mask. I drive over to Rob's, and it's like having a wardrobe department over there, which is pretty dope. And this was like, I go, do you have any kind of like leprechaun? And this was like the closest thing. And he had like a Freddy Krueger hat. And we like cut out a little sticker to make it look like a pilgrim on top. And then in CapCut, I was able to like turn him green. And, it's a lot of like messing with editing, post-production kind of stuff. But considering how short a notice and like doing like day of show, doing this stuff, it came out all right.
Oh,
Cross
gosh.
out.
I'm so glad we were being spared. This.
Anyway, that little skull's like actually a real like life-size sculpture of like a skull. It looks like from a Dr. Moreau's Island or something. He's got realistic cool stuff. on there. So anyway, we had a fun time, and we hope you did too. Well. It looks like my super carrot Marsha showed up tonight. Hello, Eric. Tuna fun for Charlie and Kylie. I need a 4-leaf clover from Shady. Oh, thank you so much. Well, you're going to get nothing but luck. Not but luck, but luck with a pause in between the but and the luck. But Marsha took in a tortie cat. You guys know I have a tortie cat, Kylie, that I rescued. And she literally rescued this tortie cat from the cold. Anybody who knows what the weather's been like in Ohio, it's been brutal. I know other places too, PA, places on the East Coast, it's been very, very cold and snowy. It was so bad in Ohio, power was knocked out for a lot of her neighborhood. And who's walking around out in the snow, but this poor cat just like with snow and ice on her, trying to hide under cars and stuff. And it took a minute to gain the trust of this cat. She eventually named the tortie Rudy, and I'm happy to announce that Marsha has now got Rudy into her garage, and she's safe there. She's been eating, and she's going to get her fixed and just make her part of the family. But one thing I can tell you is tortie cats it's a known thing that they bring good fortune. If you treat them right, it's not that easy. You can't just lock them in a closet and hope you're going to win the lottery. It doesn't work that way. You have to serve them and in the least treat them like an equal member of your family. That's a given. But if you do that and like go beyond like I do, I feed my cat boneless chicken breasts, tuna, brush her every day, give her treats, give her lots of love. We cuddle at night. Like I make sure I go the extra effort. And as you guys know, my life is awesome. Like I live on the beach. I play for an iconic multi-platinum singer. I have 2 other cool ass bands from Pomona. I play at Pump 5 in the Project. I'm honored to play with all these people. And I give that to Kylie. I think Kylie helped keep all that going in my life. So if you ever get a chance to take in a tortie cat, you will not regret it. Thank you, Marsha. You're a good person and a friend to the animals. Let me see. I'm going to skip stuff. I just want to like talk about happy stuff tonight. Stoney Jackson's here. What's up, buddy? Rudy. Stoney Jackson's a cat dad, too, which I dig. Let me go up. I know I missed a bunch of stuff tonight. Let me get back up here. Oh, what? Pump 5 into hizzy. And there he is. Steve asked me for a link tonight. He wanted to make sure that I was not talking smack about him. And I didn't. I spoke very highly of him. Steve's like our own like regional Robin Zander. He's like that badass of a singer, and he's got great energy. Sometimes he's on like par with like a Sebastian Bach, like as a personality, like energy wise. He's and he's not a spring chicken. You know what I mean? For him to still be like, woo, he's like got the energy of like a 22-year-old, which is pretty cool, man. Let me see here. Spicoli, LA Guns has always been better than GNR. Yeah, I'm not. I know that GNR was way huger of a band, and probably sold a lot more records. But I loved LA Guns when I was a teenager, and got to tour with them. One of the most memorable tours I did was with Wasp and LA Guns at stephenpearcy in 2005. God damn, that was 20 years ago. And it was called the Metal Blast Tour. I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but it was so cool to like hear Wasp songs live every night and then LA Guns stuff. I mean, yeah, when LA Guns was like at their peak, I was probably 17 years old, you know what I mean? So as a teenager, we loved all that stuff and the videos on MTV. And, I'm cool with everybody in the band too. I've met those guys and hung out with them plenty of times, and they're just really professional guys, and they're good to everybody. Jay Lee in the house, yeah. Let's see. Joe, K9I5B as in Bravo. Matt Thorne, you worked with them last Friday? You laid down guitars? Yeah, but it was all rat stuff. I would film it, while I was there, but let me tell you how YouTube works. Basically, if it is a copywritten song, you're going to not get all the money from your video that's on there. And there's two ways that that can go. If you use an actual recording of somebody, you could just kiss your revenue goodbye because they're going to take all of it. It's just automatic. Boom, you will not monetize. The other thing, you can do live stuff like live renditions, where in most cases I found that I can split it with the artist. I started learning this doing the frightbite because Count Cracula will bust out like an acoustic guitar, do some like funny spoofy cover songs and stuff. And even though it's a spoof and it sounds not perfect, I still get hit. Most recently, I at the kickoff of the St. Patrick's Day Frightbite, the Count did a cover of Skyrockets in Flight, but he called it It's Time for Frightbite. And it was kind of funny, but sure enough, like as soon as that video got processed, boop, you see the two green lights come out, meaning you're sharing it with that band. I forgot what that band was, the Special Nines, or I forgot. They were a one hit wonder band from like 1976. If you want to see a hilarious video, you got to watch the video to Skyrockets in Flight. It's gold. It's 70s gold, baby. But anyways, another one we did was Smashing Pumpkins. I had done a Smashing Pumpkins song. Same thing with that. So as far as me, like if I was to show Matt and I playing the Ratt songs to do this rehearsal recording for the guys, I would totally have to give away all my monetization just based on that. So I got to figure that out. I'm willing to do it on the Frightbite here and there as the show's promoting. And maybe it's something I would do for the members. Like maybe we could have like an after party for the Frightbite where we have just like sing-alongs, and then I don't care because that's just a members thing, and it's not going to really affect the channel as much, you know what I mean? Because it won't be as many people there, but it might be a cool thing because I haven't done anything. If any of you are members of my channel, I apologize. I've not put anything different there yet, but I know what you're doing. You're trying to support me and I appreciate it so much. And you know that good things are coming. You know it. Like when I kick back up in April, I'll be adding more content for all the bands I play in, and you guys will not miss out on that. Spicoli always wants to know if any cool people stop by the studio. No, I'm the only cool person, Spicoli, that stopped by the studio that day. And what a goddamn long day that was. Because for one, as you know, I live in Oceanside. I'd say to get up to Burbank is about 2 hour drive. And then, of course, you kind of set up your stuff. We worked with each other to kind of go, hey, is this right? Is this how we end it? Am I doing this? You get all the MIDI stuff together. This took many, many hours. And you know, as I said, I think we finished that little project around like 2:30 in the morning, and then I had to drive back home. So my math is terrible, but that's a lot of hours for a 1 day deal. But it's just cool because now, you know, we got some new people that are going to be in the band, and this way they can rehearse like they're with us in the room. It's not, you know, you could play along with the record with a band like Ratt. You could sit there and you know, play along, but that is not the same as it's going to be playing with the actual band that Steven has live. It's going to be a little different. It's not a Bow Hill production. It's just, you're just hearing one guitar track live, and you're hear the guy on the left and the guy on the right, and that's it. And so if you're practicing, you'd want to know what the other guy's going to be playing, especially when it comes to like double harmony leads or something like that. Maybe somebody's doing it a little different than the record, or you're not sure which one they're taking, and all this confusion, where if you know, and you could just pull up this rehearsal session, you know what I mean? You could totally know what's going to happen. And I'm really glad we're doing this. I wish we had done this for years, but because of the DeMartini thing, those guys were doing it, and it worked so well that Matt, you know, was like, let's do this. So it was like a volunteer day because Matt does a lot for the band. Matt is a huge part of Ratt, and Mickey Ratt, he wrote songs like Back for More and some other ones. I forget which all ones they are, but he goes back. He was like roommates with Jakey Lee and Warren DeMartini before Ratt even made it big. He's been there since the beginning. So he cares about the band. Okay, he cares about it like I care about it. And so there's many times where we've donated our time, not for financial We're just doing it for the greater good of Ratt and stephenpearcy, the voice of Ratt, because that's how we roll. Li Ming Incorporated. Nai hao, Eric. Well, nai hao, Li Ming. Happy to have you here on this lovely Friday. I hope it's warmed up everywhere in the country, because let me tell you, I don't want to make you guys jealous, but what a great day weather-wise in San Diego today. Like, the sun is kicking. It's like, feels like about 80 degrees, and super dope, super dope. Jay Lee's saying, glad the show's back. We all missed you very much. Thank you. Now, moving on, I wanted to do something that eventually I will get bapped for with monetization, but it's probably going to be a while down the road. But I want to move on to the other band that I'm playing with, which is called The Project. And Dennis Hill produced both Pump 5 and The Project. But I just want to like say how much I dig working with him. I mean, when you're a guitarist and you're trying to do it as a career, yeah, you'll hear different takes on what your state of mind should be, or your prerogative, if you will. You'll see famous guys say, "Don't get into this for money." And then you'll get other guys like me that's been doing this for a long time. And yeah, you're going to have to pay me some money to go out there because I earned it. I've been here this long and I have the experience, you know, and what have you. But I'll take less money, you know what I mean, if it's for something that I really am proud to be involved in and just have a hand in. And when it comes to some of these project newer songs that are coming out, like, I'm so stoked, even if it's like just writing the guitar solo on it, because Jimmy comes up with most of these songs. There's like a cool dynamic that happens here where the guitarist and kind of the head guy of the project, Jimmy, will get together with Dennis and he'll just have a couple riffs, and it inspires Dennis in a way where they put together like a song that is, you know, like a Soul Asylum or Bryan Adams. I don't know. It just like automatically takes me back to music I've loved my whole life. And I think it's going to automatically take you back to music you've loved your whole life. I feel like it's a song where even on the first listen, you know it's kind of a hit and it's good, and you would put it in your your little box or your whatever, your iTunes thing. And I got permission. I asked Jimmy, I go, hey man, can I like play some of this new stuff we're working on? Would you care? And he was okay with it. So that's going to be kind of a treat tonight. I'm going to share part of this new song that's not on any record. It's just some of the new stuff we're doing. There's this song, Complicated. And, there's another song that I did kind of the same thing. I go, hey, this sounds like something that the project would do, and I gave him my first arrangement or composition, if you will, of a song that's called Doesn't Matter, and that one's we're working on next. But tonight, I'm gonna have to pull some butt bongos out here. Hold on a second. I need two hands for butt bongos. I'm gonna play you guys this, and I want to know what you think about it. I want you to write me some comments. If you're watching the replay, leave some comments down below. Not shitty ones, please. No, nice only if they're good. If they're bad, I'm more of all along the lines of like, if you don't have something good to say, don't say it. Just if you don't like the show, there's probably a million shows you do like, go watch that one. I don't waste my time putting negative energy like out into the world. I'm trying to unify people. If I get frustrated, I will yell at people, and I've even been known to punch people. I'm not a perfect human being by any stretch, but if I had it my way, we would just be all hanging out together and having a good time. And as I've said many times, Stephen feels this way. I feel this way. We want nothing but for you guys to win at everything you do. If it's a band, please write kick-ass songs and we'll turn it up. If you have a business, I hope it has the best year it's had yet. If you're at a job, I hope that they have pizza parties every week and give you a raise and let you work from home a couple days a week. That's what I want for you. There's very few people that I wish bad things for, and I'll leave it there. But right now, I'm going to world premiere a song that we shouldn't even be playing yet, but I'm going to do it. I threw a couple photos in there so it wouldn't just be audio. This song is called Complicated. I want to know what you guys think. Let's have a listen.
We used to have nothing, and baby, we were just fine. We used to dig through the cushions and try and find a couple dimes. And if we hustled up at 20, we'd be good till Monday on any floor. We were the opening band, never paid our tab, but it got us in the door. And we can blame ourselves 'cause the times got tough. Blame the world for giving up on us. It never had to do with anything but you and me. Why is everything so damn complicated? Why is everything so damn overstated? You know it's gotten too loud. We gotta turn it back down. All the memories in boxes, we move around from time to time. Sleep on a king-size cushion, never cross the middle line. Now the times have changed, I don't even recognize us anymore. All the dreams we had, memories of the past out the door. Why is everything so damn complicated? Why is everything so damn overstated? You know it's gotten so loud. We gotta turn it back down. You know it's gotten so loud. We gotta turn it back down. And we can blame ourselves 'cause the times got tough. Blame the world for giving up on us. It never had to do with anything but you and me. Why is everything so damn complicated? Why is everything so damn overstated? Why is everything so? Why is everything so? Why is everything so damn complicated?
God damn it, right? Is that good or what? I mean, do you need to hear that 100 times or can you just hear it one time and go, that shit is dope? I'm pretty sure you're like me. You heard it one time and went, whoa, holy shit, what are we getting onto here? You know, God. I mean, I could. That song's good. I love it. And the next song that we're doing was the one I gave. Doesn't Matter is also just really freaking good, like of that level. So I'm super excited just to be like a part of it. And it's like at a beginning stage where it's still kind of just a dream of sorts that you're building. And I hope something good comes of it. I mean, I know everybody in the bands are super good people and human beings. And when good people join together and do something, it could be very special. So is this going to be such a kick-ass year, guys? What can I say? Anyways, let's see what you guys got to say about it. Let me see. Black Phillip. Did I miss something earlier from you, Black Phillip? I'm first of all, I'm going to say hello. I know I missed a couple people. I'm bad at what's this, another person I got to get rid of too? Please, no. Oh, I know what he's saying. I think Black Phillip's talking about Chuck Norris, and he was saying that was shitty news. Though for real, it is. It's bad news. I thought Dahlia was Latina. No, no, nope. I think she's like a mutt. Like I'm a mutt. I'm a German, Greek, and Italian. Which is what I don't really. I mean, I guess from different times I identify with like each one of those things. At some point, I could get the Italian attitude sometimes. Sometimes I could be a Greek philosopher or just think about life. Sometimes I could be a Nazi about especially the dishwasher. If you don't load the dishwasher right, that's like, oh man, that gets me bummed out. Let me see here. I think I gotta take a super chat. What? Oh, Tim, great song. See, Tim knows he's got a good ear for this stuff, guys. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, good going. Okay. What? Okay, I see. When I do, eventually I'm gonna have to get a moderator, because I don't have time. I can't read really fast. You know me. I'm like Ron Burgundy. I just throw stuff up there, and I don't want to put. Oh, here we go. I knew there was a nice Black Phillip comment here. Definitely missed Erik last week. Gets me through my shift. Glad he's on tonight because I'm stuck at work and my sisters are both with my nephews seeing Sebastian Bach tonight. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Sebastian's got a ton of dates. So does Slaughter. Like Big Time Entertainment. All the promoters out there know Big Time Entertainment. But, man, all his bands are just got a ton of dates throughout this whole year. I'm jealous. I don't know exactly business-wise what Steven's got going on. I'd love to be back at Big Time. I love doing that circuit with those bands. I don't care if it's casinos and fairs. I'm all about it. We get treated so good at those places, and I love it. Okay, Skylar B. Good evening, everyone. What's happening, Skylar? And let's see. Jeff Whitley, heard Piercy will retire soon. Will you still tour with another band? I mean, yeah, I'm playing in 2 other bands now. I don't think Piercy's going to retire. Why would he? I mean, he might think that, or I think sometimes people might even get in his ear. You know what I mean? You should maximize and announce the farewell tour, even if you're not, blah, blah. I don't ever want to hear him doing that. I mean, I've told this story before, but recently my good friend Andy took me to go see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest here in San Diego recently, like I'd say 3 months ago maybe. And I'm watching the Alice Cooper band, and they're just kicking ass. He has such a kick-ass band, and they sounded phenomenal. He looked the same to me as he has most of my life, Alice. And he was putting on a hell of a show, man. That was not like I had to be forgiving because he's old or whatever. Like, the show was kick-ass. He was as good as he ever was. And he's pushing 80, y'all. You know what I mean? That's where I'm going with this. So, Alice is like raising the bar for how these heavy metal icons, for how long they can go. Same with Halford, And I in a way, I kind of feel like Halford's trying to look older than he is on purpose, kind of pulling the old Willy Wonka, coming out with the cane and then does the double flip kind of psych thing. I just feel like he's making himself look older with the white beard, but he's still got it. Like, I don't think Priest is going to like retire next year or anything either. He still sounded great too. And I'm pretty sure he's older than Steven by a few years. So I have heard that. I've heard that numbers come up, but I'm not accepting it. You know what I mean? I feel like Steven is somebody he needs to just work till the very end. If he's still able to sing, he should be out there doing it. Unfortunately, bad things can happen to anybody. Like, I could have a stroke tomorrow and not be able to play guitar. But I have other things in my life that it aren't just music, I would still probably do the frightbite all like all stroked out. You know, if I couldn't play guitar, I would still entertain you guys in some capacity if I was able to. But if he could still strut on stage and fit into his leather pants and go out there, he should still do it. And I'm not accepting him retiring anytime soon. What? Unique Davis Sovereign? Well, I'm gonna have to.
Isn't she pretty, princess?
She's a pretty princess. Unique Davis Sovereign. Welcome back to Unleashed. Always happy that you're here. And she's saying hello to Jerome and all the other cool cats. I have like my cool cats and I have the fright biters. The cool cats, I didn't put too much thought into that one. But hi, Marsha B, says Unique. And we got Doll Wilson. Hey, bro. Frightbite posters looking bad. Is that bad as in good? I think you meant bad as in that's bad, right? It's bad, you know it. Hoo hoo. Jay Lee, hit the like and subscribe, people. Yeah, it's going good. I think we're about to hit 2,000. We're at 2,099 subscribers last time I checked, and I think somebody is going to be 2,100. But anyways, it's going to take some time. I mean, this is the first year of me actually doing the channel. I think I got it going in September, and it's doing good, you know, for as short a time as it's been. I mean, I attribute that to playing for Piercy. You know, I had put some road videos up there, and that definitely helped get some fans in the door. And I'm finding some new fans with the Frightbite. And I'm burping, I'm sorry. Let's see. Via extraterrestrial, you could take the Metrolink. Oh yeah, I could take the Metrolink instead of driving. I've done that. There was a time when, to save money, somehow I was getting booked out of LAX with most of the band at the time was in LA, and I think just to make it easier, they just got everybody's tickets out of there, and I'd have to like get up to LA. And at the time, this was many years back. This was probably like before. This is at least 12 years ago or more. And I was getting paid about half of what I am today. And saving money was a thing. Like, if I could not have to pay to park my car somewhere, if it was a longer run of shows, I would, you know, take the train or whatever it took. And to go up there, you got to take a train, then you got to get on a bus, and then you got to get over to the train station. I mean, it's a whole thing. It was not fun. And I don't miss that. San Diego's not super easy to get to either. I'm in North County, so it's like 30 miles to get to the San Diego airport. That one, I've just, out of convenience, and now I do make a little better wage, I pay for the Wally Park, and my car is always there when I get back. And I'm going to do that again for the Pump 5 shows. I'll head down to Wally Park, fly out, play the 5 days with those guys. My car will be waiting for me. The Uber is super expensive. Like an Uber from my house to the airport would probably be upwards, depending on if it's a peak time, maybe $70 or $80 each way. So it's actually like a 5-day trip. For me, leaving my car at Wally Park would be about $100 maybe. And I usually, because I use them so much, get some discounts. Like they put a little money aside, like I might have $10 credit or something, and it'll end up being $90 or $80. And it's worth it to have my car there. It's cheaper than Uber, and I don't have to worry that they're a psychopath that's going to kill us driving or something. Man, you guys are having your own little weird combos in here tonight. Mr. Scary 90, really digging the project material. I have the other 2 songs on my rock playlist. Great stuff. Looks like I have a third to add. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, that was a sneak peek tonight. I mean, I feel like I've been talking about this new material, and I'm like, wank, 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 I'm working on the greatest songs you've ever heard, you know, and I just sound like I'm full of crap after a while, and I just got tired of it. I got tired of knowing that we're sitting on this like kick-ass song, you know what I mean? That's like, I don't know, that anybody my age can relate to. Like some of the lyrics that were in it, you know, he's talking about, you know, we used to have nothing, and baby, we were just fine. And that just takes me back to the 90s when I was like a young teen, early 20s. Didn't have shit, man. could barely keep a roof over. I was pretty much like, living at the rehearsal room. But man, he had hopes and dreams, and the future was still in my mind, bright. And there's some other lines in there. I inspired a couple of lines in there just talking to Dennis. He's that kind of writer where you could just say something and he'll turn it into like cool lyrics. At some point he's talking about digging through the cushions to find a couple dimes. And like some people might not understand that. If you're a trust fund kid, you might not understand that. But if you're like a typical broke person, young person, and you needed money for cigarettes, you find yourself pulling cushions out and trying to find, I found 35 cents. Or hey man, we could go buy a Jack in the Box taco now. So some people will hear that lyric and totally know what Dennis is talking about. And then as the song kind of progresses over a lifetime of a person, he's like, man, we move our pictures around from time to time, talking about that, all those photo albums that you got from your family or when your parents passed away, you held on to, and every now and then you bust them out and look at them and then try to find a new spot to hide them. There's that aspect. What else did he say in there? So I'm looking at us. He's like, I don't even recognize us anymore. And it's true. It's like we had our younger years where we had whatever crazy look going. There's a funny, on Reddit, there's a forum that I belong, or subgroup I belong to, called the Blunder Years. And I love it because it's like, mostly people showing what they looked like when they were a rebellious teenager and all the crazy looks that you're trying to get attention with. And hey, I have plenty of blunder years photos, believe me, as you can imagine. And I'm sure you guys do too. I mean, after a while, there's maybe a few people that have looked the same their entire life, you know what I mean? But most of us, the older we are, you go back and you're just a reflection of the times, right? If you were around in the 60s, which some of you probably were, you have outfits that are like the Brady Bunch, you know what I mean? If you were in the 70s, you probably got pictures of yourself with bell bottoms and half t-shirts and stuff. We know the 80s, right? You knew if you're looking at a yearbook from the 80s, because all the girls had like, boo, just crazy. They looked like they had radar dishes on their head. Some of those hairdos. It was like a competition to see who could have the biggest, hair. And the hairspray, the Aquanet that was used in the 80s, most definitely cut a hole in the ozone layer at the time. For me, my memories was your hair, like in the late 80s, like you just had to have it as long as you could get it, and I never cut it. It looked all mangy. I looked like just a wild wolf or something, or like raised by wolves or something. When I had long hair, it was just a mess and blah. And then, by my 20s, I was like doing the mohawk thing, and I've pretty much had some form of a mohawk my whole life since. But you could still put me in the blunder years today with my look. I mean, I kind of could disguise myself like tonight for this show. But anywho, let me see here. Lee Ming, who is Marsha, will you text me and tell me who I got to bounce from here, please? Oh, maybe you did already. I just had my phone on vibrate. I'm pretty bummed. I will say, I don't want to go too deep into it. Oh, okay. Actually, she saved you, whoever it is. She's saying that you're not a bad person. So I'm going to go with that. But generally, nobody's doing the other channel any favors trying to interrupt my show in any way, because what'll end up happening is I'm just going to say a lot of things that person doesn't want to hear. And so he should probably get control of his people and even what they're saying in his chat and stuff, because the information I have is just so goddamn damaging to his life. His life could possibly be in danger from it, So I think if you're a fan of his, you're bummed at me, don't come here to make trouble, because you're just going to make it worse for him, because I have the truth on my side and people know that I'm the real mofo here. Okay, they know it and they're going to listen to what I say. Let me see. The rock and metal block. Oh, here he's saying, that was a really good and well-written song. Took me back to the days when songs like that made you feel good. Yeah. I mean, it was the radio years, right? Where you just had on the rock radio station, and Summer of '69 was on or whatever, right? I mean, Dennis takes me there. You know what I mean? I could like hear his song once, a song of his, and it's like, man, something about his voice just feels so good. And we got another great singer too, Jeff. And Jeff sings. If you saw the latest project song, "Hope," he did a great vocal track on that. That video is cool if you haven't seen it. The project video called "Hope," and we did shot 2 videos that day, and I think the next one comes out this week. And Jeff sings that song. It's called "On Top of the World," and we're stoked to have Jeff in the band. We have 2 singers. We have Jeff, and then we have Dennis Hill, who also plays guitar and sings. And so we can do a lot of different stuff. And what's also cool is we can recreate the albums, like just with any kind of harmonies, vocal harmonies, or if there's like extra guitar stuff going on, like all the ambient production stuff that Dennis does. Where generally, if a band only had 2 guitars, they probably wouldn't be able to do all that. Like during the second verse, when you start hearing some just stuff in the background, some delayed out, cool ambient stuff happening. Like normally, if you only had 2 guys, probably wouldn't be able to do that. But since we have 3 guitar players technically in the band, we can do that out of production live. So that's pretty dope. But anyway, yeah, Jeff, and he's also like our hype man in a way. So he's just a good guy to have on deck, you know, whether he's lead singing or helping with the harmonies on Dennis's stuff. We got a good team of people, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it, man. That's all I'll say. Johnny Ponder, Piercy not retiring. No, not anytime soon. He would go nuts, guys. I'll tell you, man. He would go nuts at home. He can only, and he's been home a lot. He's ready to get out and rock for you guys. That's his life. That's what he does. It's his job. It's what he does. Rock for you and rat and roll. And that ain't stopping. I met Steven last year and going to again in August. He's super cool and down to earth. He is. He is super cool and down to earth. Jerome Davis loves Disney. He likes Disney movies. What can he say? Disney's done a lot of great movies. They also Grey's Anatomy is on Disney, and you know our band, we're a fan of Grey's Anatomy here. Yeah. God, how much time? Oh, we're already an hour into it. I'm not going to go too late tonight, but I'll make sure I talk to everybody who's leaving comments. Tommy Carmichael 3198. What's up, Eric? Just getting through with rehearsal and checking in. Well, I hope you had a killer rehearsal, Tommy. We got a gig coming up. Tell me, bro. I'll pump it. Pump 5. I just made it 3,000. Are you my 3,000th subscriber, Pump 5, Steve? Man. Oh, no. Okay, here's what you're saying. No, he's now 2,100. Well, sir, I appreciate what you do for this channel and our country. Oh, hey, that's 70s guy. What's up, Eric? Alexis here. Hope all has been well, bro. Oh, not 70s guy, just the guy. This is the guy 0417. Well, the guy, welcome to the show, and thank you very much. Things have been very well, man. How could they be bad? I'm sitting here on the beach in Oceanside. Things are good. I got airline tickets. I'm playing like 6 gigs in April. I'm going to film stuff out there. I'm going to share it on the channel. And I'm going to work towards even doing some cool stuff for the members. I got to get on the member thing. I didn't even think anybody would want to be a member of this channel, but some people just dig me and they want to make sure I'm taken care of and the bills are paid, and they want to see this thing keep going. And I appreciate those people. I don't demand it or anything. I mean, I love that you guys just are here, period, and that you even comment at all or hit the like button. That all of that totally helps out. Tina, what's happening? What is your guitar of choice? Well, the guitar that I've played the longest would be my Les Paul. It's a 1992 Les Paul Studio. It's a working man's guitar, but that was a good year for Les Paul Studios. I think I bought it for like $800 back in the early 90s. I was probably like, I don't know, 18 or 19 when I bought it. and the thing was a solid guitar. It's been beat to hell. It has stress fractures all over it, but somehow it's hung in there. It's that strong. And I probably used it on every Piercy record. Most of the bands I played in, I've used it because at the end of the day, it just sounds the best out of there. Most recently, I've added a new pickup to it from Pariah Pickups. So anybody who wants to get a really badass sound on their guitar. Also, I have a Gibson SG that was sounded a little thin with the Gibson pickup that was in it, and I had Sean send me a pickup for it, and it kind of solved that problem. So if you're like a guy with an SG and you're looking to beef it up and give it some more balls, definitely hit up Sean at pariahpickups.com. He's also Canadian. It's a Canadian company. So anyways, not it's as far as any additional fees, there's not much to have because pickups aren't that expensive. So I'm sure like they're around $100 for a pickup. They're totally worth it though. I'm very happy with the Pariah pickups that I put in. I also play Charvel guitars. I think the Seymour Duncans that are in the Charvels work, especially for the Ratt stuff. So I don't know if I'd really change those. What made me want to go for the Pariahs was that SG just didn't quite have the bang I was looking for. But he sent me two of them, and I put one in the Les Paul, I put one in the SG, and man, pretty killer. See, V Extraterrestrial, what's your opinion on the Lynyrd Skynyrd playing a 10-minute song in Oakland? That concert looked legendary. Yeah, I mean, was it like a 10-minute Freebird? I didn't even see it. Mr. Scary, you gotta wonder if the ghouls who defend the other guy are really doing so to make themselves feel better about the skeletons they themselves. Yeah, I mean, that is like just a Mr. Scary 90, just a deep bummer thought. And I'll take a minute because I was going to kind of mention that because, I have no problem calling out pedophiles or, if I have evidence, you know what I mean? There's a difference because people get all scared with that stuff. You say allegedly. No, I mean, if I have evidence of it and I've seen it myself, I don't have to say allegedly because no one's going to sue me because if they do, guess what? Oh, now you're really in trouble. You know what I mean? They don't want that. They know what I have. They know exactly what I have. And so I'm totally fine. They're not going to come after me for that. If there's things that I haven't seen, I will use the word allegedly. But generally speaking, if you guys ever look on the Megan's Law website, it's the saddest thing you'll ever see. And you'll realize that you are surrounded by pedophiles everywhere. Especially if you're not in like a real rural, if you're in a rural place, maybe not so much, but if you're in any kind of city area or any population, probably over like, 50,000 people or something, you're going to see red dots everywhere. And it's a bummer. I mean, most of these guys, they don't do life sentences or anything. Even rapes and stuff, people don't generally do more than like 5 years. All these guys get out at some point. And in a lot of cases, some of these guys actually can have a good personality or have other things in their life that they do that's deemed cool or whatever. But I don't care, man. Like, as soon as it's found out that you hurt children or minors in any way, or you're a predator that exploits young people, I don't give a shit what you contributed. I want you out of society, or in the least tagged, you know what I mean? To where if somebody looks you up, you're on that Megan's Law website, so they know to keep their kids away from you, or you'll never get a job anywhere around a kid. Like, that's important to me. So in this situation, like, I'm hoping the authorities do the right thing because those guys need to be tagged for that. Without a doubt. Is that going to end their lives? No, they'll get out. Now, depending on like how much bad stuff they find, I mean, as you know, our buddy deleted his Instagram. Why do you think he did that? Probably because there's bad shit on there. But the only person who that's hiding it from is his dumb girlfriend. That's the only one. It's not hiding it from the police. I mean, just him doing that's like, gee, maybe we should just go ask Instagram for all those records. I mean, you guys think that you have Time Machine on your computer? I mean, time machines are real, I mean, I could hit the Time Machine on my computer and make my computer back to before I accidentally deleted a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? That's what time machine is. That's what they call it, but you better believe Facebook, Instagram, the servers they have, the storage that they have, they're collecting all the information on us the whole time. I mean, that's definitely, I think Facebook and Instagram definitely are in cahoots with the government, and they're not getting rid of anything. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of revelations with that whole thing, but it does make me a little angry to have cruddy people like that try to disrupt my show. They don't have that many of them, but there's I got rid of most, but there's a few. It might even be them. I'm not sure, that just keep making. And it's really weird because they make pedo kind of handles and stuff about Barney, which Barney, the guy who played the Barney character, was arrested for pedophilia and so forth. So that's how psycho his some members of his audience. I don't generalize it, because there's some really sweet, cool people that were fans of his channel that have come over here, and I appreciate them so much. So I'm not like judging anybody that's over here, but who I'm specifically talking about are people that come here to just make pedophile jokes and just disrupt the show or piss me off or get me riled up or whatever. But really, if you're fans of his, you're just going to make it worse for him, because then I'm just going to start assuming he's telling you to come here, and then I'm going to retaliate, and I'll start sharing victims' testimonies, and maybe even start sharing text messages of solicitations of minors that I also have. And this is very devastating for him, anybody who associates with him. But what initially started me on this rant was it Mr. Scary just saying that it's a bummer that there are people that give a pass to people like that. And you'd be surprised how many do. Why is it? I don't know. I mean, I think maybe when they hear a victim 16, they don't get too freaked out about it, because there's a lot of 16-year-olds can be potentially ahead of their time development wise. They can look like a young woman at a very young age, maybe even 12 or 13. Sometimes they could have big breasts or something like that, and start getting attention from creeps. Most girls know what I'm talking about. And but at the same time, like, I'll give an example. Like, my first girlfriend, when I had just like turned 18, was 16 years old. Do I think anything's wrong with that? No. I mean, maybe that was a law broken, but I mean, we were like barely a 2-year, difference. And she was not a virgin. She was way ahead of me. You know what I mean? As far as like, her dad was more worried for me. Let's just put it that way. And for good cause. That first relationship of mine was like a 5-year relationship, and she just destroyed me on every level. She destroyed my confidence. She broke my heart. I loved her so much, then, or so I thought, where now I could barely even remember anything. I can remember a few bad things that happened, but as far as like trying to reflect on like happy times, there wasn't really all that many. And this was a long time ago. But I'm just saying that I think most people are probably like that when they were a teenager. They probably had a relationship with somebody that was within a couple of years of them. So they think, well, I've done that. That's not a big deal. No, it is a big deal. When you're 50 years old and you're preying on minors, you're a sick individual that needs to be on the Megan's Law website. There's nothing normal about that. I mean, I'm a normal guy. Like, if I saw a 16-year-old, I could recognize that, okay, she's probably going to be a knockout down the road, or she'll be a trophy wife down the road. I could see that. It's not that I'm blind to these things, but as far as like myself, I'm into women my own freaking age. I have like no desire to date a woman even in her 20s. You know what I mean? I see a woman in her 20s, and to me, she looks like a teenager. You know what I mean? That's how old I'm getting. I'm 53 now. Like, I saw a woman today I figured was underage. She's sitting there. She probably had like a 7 or 8-year-old son with her. You know what I mean? Like, I'm even bad at kind of judging. I don't have kids myself, but I've watched my nieces. I have twin nieces. I watched them grow up. And there's something about that, if you've had kids, where you look at a young person, you go, God, that's like my nieces. You know what I mean? You have a family, respect and stuff, and you don't think like that. You know what I mean? So it's disturbing that so many people do give a pass to it. I think if it was like a child, people would be more up in arms about it. But they hear that number, and for some reason they think it's not that big of a deal. It's a big fucking deal. Okay. And if there's photos involved, like they solicited photos or anything like that, now you're talking about CP. And that's something that'll definitely get you more years in prison. That's just a fact. I read it all the time. Like, such and such guy, I'll see it on Reddit news, that worked at this school was caught with CP. He got 12 years. That's what you're going to be looking at. But I'm not personally going to be, from all the evidence I've seen, I'm not going to be satisfied till that bozo's on a Megan's Law website and we could just laugh at him. He'll eventually get out. But his life's over. I think anybody who's even like going there right now is just out of a morbid curiosity to see what this guy has to say for himself. And you can see the views are just going I mean, this guy's views are on par with me. I barely have 2,000 subs. He's got 46,000 and he's getting less views than me. That can tell you people are fucking done. You know what I mean? He's embarrassing himself at this point. Doing shows about toys and cartoons is not helping his cause one goddamn bit. So anyways, yeah, somebody said Art Bell came back from the dead to let us know show 15 is pop pop pop. It wasn't meant to be. I wanted to have just a regular show on live hang number 15, but I was just on emotional overload from the whole thing. This has been, it's like dealing with Friday the 13th, Jason. This guy just keeps coming back. It's like, really? Still? Why don't you go away and let this just die down for a while? You know what I mean? Mr. Scary. Amen, Eric. I agree 100%. Yeah, you should. I mean, I appreciate those of you here that are normal people. Like, the thought of this should be repulsive to you. That, especially if somebody's using their status or their job to lure people in. Like, if your buddy on your show's got a young fan base and you're offering them gifts, I mean, that's a very pedo thing to do, right? We all know that, hey, little kid, you want some candy? You want some Wednesday 13 t-shirts? You know what I mean? What you gonna do for it? You know what I mean? That's some predatory shit. Not, that's alleged, but I'm just saying, I mean, that kind of stuff is so bad to use his audience in that way, and then maybe use another band that you're on tour with to try to meet up with these minors is even worse. This is a fucking predator we're talking about here. And I don't use that term lightly. As I said before, I have the evidence personally, so I ain't getting sued. There's no BS going on. I'm not using his thumbnails in my videos. I'm not hashtagging him. I'm not putting his name. I just want him to go away, and I just want to move on with my awesome life of playing in 3 awesome bands and being the cat dad of 2 awesome cats and being here with Susan on the beach. That's what I like, and I love hanging out with you guys twice a week. And I know that a lot of you guys don't even like when I get angry like this. It bums you out, and I'm sorry that you ever have to see me this way, but I have to look out for my people. If somebody's coming in here and upsetting people, I gotta address it. Johnny Pounder, the Mountain USA this year is like Woodstock for 80s bands. Is that Monsters on the Mountain? That's a good gig. Looking forward to it. Everyone, let's go! Yes, I played Monsters on the Mountain once, and I was really hoping the Piercy band would get back. Piercy DiMartini is playing there this year, so you guys are going to get to see Warren and Carlos do their thing with Blas Elias and Matt Thorne. And it's going to be a great show. I love that whole area of where that goes down is like Dolly Parton's area. Like it's like Dollywood of over there, and it's cool. I think Li Ming mentioned King Kong earlier. They have like on one of the buildings, there's a giant King Kong, like inflatable King Kong climbing up one of the buildings. That was one of my memories of Tennessee when we did the Monsters on the Mountain. I think they might put that up when the Monsters on the Mountain thing's happening, because that would make more sense. If you're a local person there, you could tell me if they take that down when the show's not going. But it was pretty cool. Tina, do you ever play through tube amps when you record? Most recently, no, because we profiled the amps, and so Matt's like just pulls it off of the Tonex. But previously, yeah, I mean, the previous records for Piercy were all through a tube amp, but when Matt does profiles for these amps, he's using like the best mics to do it. Like he's got Royer and whatever 50 7 and this different microphones, and he actually just redid the whole process. We just rescanned the Splon app, and it sounded pretty damn good. But after last night's rehearsal, man, I want to get on a big tour where I can bring my tube amps again. I know Scott Splon's got to be bummed that I'm doing the modeling. He saw what I was doing. He's like, "Oh, it's not good for amp builders. They're not going to sell as many amps." But I don't even know if your typical kid has the money to spend. If a typical kid would have $3,000 to buy one of those, you know what I mean? At least you can kind of get an idea through the Tonex website what it sounds like, you know what I mean? If you go on there, if you could go to MT Studios on the Tonex community, you can look up Matt's amps. He's scanned all the amps in his studio are in there. It doesn't mean you're just going to put the amp on and it's going to sound great. You kind of have to know what you're doing to adjust the parameters of it, and depending on what song you're recording, you have to be an artist that knows what amp is needed. That's a Dennis Hill thing, by the way. That song I played earlier from the project, those guitars sounded legit, right? Like that weren't no fake amps being used on that project recording. If you rewind the show tonight and listen to it, you can tell those are real guitars he was tracking there. I'm trying to think of what I did. I did the solo on there, which was pretty good. I don't know exactly what I did, what amp I used for that. It might have been something out of Amplitude. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways. But am I seeing anything else here? Yeah, Jerome Davis. Yeah, older people should be attracted to young adults. There's a lot of people have been, probably even more women, if I'd venture to guess, have had abuse on some level going back far, and that could affect them later. You know what I mean? Where maybe when I see a woman with an adult woman, when I see an adult woman with a really older guy, I kind of figured maybe she has some father issues, or maybe something bad happened to her that now she feels comfort because of that. There's weird things. People are never the same after that sort of thing, but I think it's something nobody likes to talk about, being a victim. We don't like to think of ourselves as a victim. I don't like it one bit. But I have to admit, the last couple years, I was very victimized in a toxic work environment, and it was really shitty. And I'm not a weak person. A couple people came out and called me soft for taking a stand and whatever. I am not soft. In fact, it's the polar opposite of that. If you look into narcissists, which he is a narcissist, 100%. But if you look into like how they roll, and the person that's going to be the one to take down a narcissist will be the one he probably beat down the hardest, that took it the longest. That's the one that'll end a narcissist, and that's exactly what happened here. I just kind of read that the other day, but it's like so true. It's like, of course I'd be. I'm the one who took one. No, I don't even want to say that. That's not fair, because he didn't, abuse me sexually or something like that. This was just a different manipulative, exploitation, just putting people, the fans, weaponizing his audience against me, filming me when I didn't know I was being filmed, to the point where it's illegal. You know what I mean? I'm still getting stuff. Like, I'm finding out he was like keeping files on us, and had like, would stand by our hotel room doors and like film, like he'd just be getting audio, but he would be recording me in my hotel room, whether I had a guest or was talking to somebody on the phone, whatever it is, sitting there record. That's illegal. And from state to state, and doing the same thing to Steven, recording him and his lady in the bathroom through a vent, and then putting it on his show. That is illegal. That is against the law. Hello, you can't record things and then monetize and put it on. He's such an idiot on so many levels, but he's just fucked. None of this is going good for him, man. It is not going good. But back to the victim thing. I hate calling myself that. I hate that. It's a kind of like a weak feeling that you have, like you're a bullied person, and it's not very empowering. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, it's like what you do with it. If you can survive it, if you can move forward and have the strength not to let it stop you from achieving your dreams, from moving forward, and if you were sexually abused, Don't let that person stop you from having a healthy sexual relationship with a normal person. Hopefully you can work through it, and the right guy can let you know that there's a way better life out there, and a way better relationship. Hopefully, in my case, I survived stephenpearcy Island. You know what I mean? Where, he's not the only bad guy I've had to deal with. I mean, Stephen's had other shit managers too. One actually had something to do with Metal Edge magazine. And if you remember in 2021, when the boop boops were going around and they were telling people you had to take this or get fired, I wish I actually worked for a company. I wish stephenpearcy was a company that I was literally an employee of, because I would be a millionaire. You know what I mean? For having a threat of, you need to take this to work here. That is against our Bill of Rights. Like, as an American, at one point, you should probably look up your Bill of Rights to know when somebody's, whether it's a president or whatever, is trying to pull a fast one with you. But I knew there was no way this was legal, especially when it comes to medical stuff. That's like Nazi shit. That's like, that's like war crime level stuff that was going on in the 40s in Poland and whatever. I hate when I get all worked up, because then my mind just kind of goes everywhere. But I don't even know how long I want to like keep on this. I know I didn't want to do that long of a show, but as we move forward, I don't mind talking about it in small little pieces or whatever. Oh yeah, and I know what I was saying. So this guy called me up on the phone. He's like, you got to take this thing that's coming out, and I was like, no way. And he's like, he took an hour on the phone trying to talk me into this. He even went as far as to say his dad was a doctor and it's totally safe. And I'm like, how could you know that? I'm like, and I remember this was in 2021. I go, listen to me. I'm like, they're not even telling people what's in it. They're not telling you anything that could possibly go wrong. Are you insane? I'm like, what's going to happen is eventually it's going to get taken off the market in about 5 years. And you're going to little by little start hearing what was actually in it. And then you're going to start hearing about how many people got killed by it. And you're going to be dumbfounded. I told him that. I'm like, you're going to be shocked when you find out what this is going to do. This is going to kill millions of people. I knew it then. How could it not? I mean, they could have mandated peanuts, for Christ's sake, and people would have been going into anaphylactic shock. But when the crazy stuff that's in that, to think that it wasn't going to cause, sudden death and blood clots and all this other shit that cancer is probably the worst thing that it's causing, is the turbo cancer. And I'm sure you guys have seen it firsthand. I know I have. I mean, my stepdad was diagnosed with throat cancer and was dead within like 3 months of diagnosis. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing it everywhere, and we're starting to really see it in Hollywood and with influencers and stuff, that we're all jumping on the bandwagon with that. And a lot of musicians that thought, well, music's my life and I got to go out and do this, and I wouldn't let anything stop me from that. You could put whatever you want in me. And I didn't care. I mean, at that point I had been playing for Piercy for 20 years. You know what I mean? If this was going to be it, it was going to be it. I wasn't a naive teenager just getting started in this business. I knew, as just as an American, this was disgusting. You know what I mean? And there was no way I was going to go along with it. But I'm just trying to convey that this guy told me, you're not going to get to play with the band unless you take this. And I remember I was like, good. I was so proud of myself. I actually had a lot to lose, because I wasn't like somebody with a regular job that could have turned. Yeah, just so you know, everybody that they fired for not taking it has like $1 million now. It's true. Whether they worked at a university, wherever the hell they worked, they all were given their job. Even the military, they were given their job back. All that back pay that they missed when they left. Those people that really knew what it meant to be an American and stood up for it, they were compensated if they actually had the balls to go and didn't take it, and they were fired. But for me, it was just I'm an independent contractor, so what I had to lose, I mean, I have my health. That's the best part. Ironically enough, I still ended up having a heart attack later that year, but it really had nothing to do, or in 2022, but that had nothing to do with COVID or anything like that. I have the same family problem that like my mom and my dad and my grandparents had, which is something called heart disease. And sure, you can live a healthier lifestyle to try to mitigate that, which I'm trying to do now. But it was 50 years, or I was at 49 at the time. It was 49 years of just clogging till I had like the widowmaker thing going on. And I've always heard of people like that just croaked at 50. Like it's called a widowmaker. And it's just like, if you feel okay, you might not even know you have a freaking problem. And then all of a sudden, bow. But for me, I couldn't catch my breath after a gig in Ohio. And the coolest thing was we were close to the best heart institute in the country. And these guys just did an amazing job getting the stents up in there. I was awake for the whole thing. And it was just a real life changing, day for me. And I do take things, I do appreciate life a lot more now. And I realize that it's not promised, there's no guarantees we don't know. Are you going to get to be like as old as Chuck Norris? I don't know. Are you going to die tomorrow? Maybe. I mean, you got to get checked out. I hope you guys do get some blood work done. And if you're over, in your late 40s, maybe you should get an echocardiogram to see how clogged up you are in there. Don't find out the hard way. Both my parents have stents. They didn't have a heart attack, but they both had stents. I didn't know I had a problem. I have 3 stents. But I will tell you this, it hasn't affected me. I'm in pretty goddamn good shape right now, guys. Tonight I'm going to go to the gym. I do 6 miles on the elliptical machine. I burn about between 700 and 800 calories doing that. So I could throw a beat down still. Don't think I can't. I'm not like, where's my oxygen tank? I'm breathing good. I'm about to take the stage again with these bands, and I'm out for blood. I told you that. I'm out for blood. You're going to see. So, anyways, I saw somebody saying they support me. That's one I want to put up here. Oh, here we go. Jerome Davis loves Disney. We support you, Eric. No, thank you. I appreciate Jerome. Has been a sweetheart coming to all the Fright Bites. And Jerome's definitely one of Dahlia's favorite Fright Biters for sure. And I know that Jerome loves Dahlia and all her, super dope outfits that she wears. She even offered Jerome a job as her wardrobe coordinator. But I think he's having a good time out living on the Disney property with his BF out there. Mr. Scary, it's heartbreaking, Eric, but so many women I know have been abused in their youth. I've had the trauma from those experiences ruin relationships I've been in because safety felt unfamiliar to them. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I mean, I've dated some women that had some brutal stuff happen, just freaking brutal, and that was my first introduction to hearing in society how enablers work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. It's hard for me to talk about victims because I don't want to re-victimize them, and I would never like bring up specific people. But one woman I dated, terrible things with her dad, right? Where like she had to go to the hospital, and a doctor like took care of it, and then never turned the dad in. That kind of thing. When you realize that these pedophiles work everywhere. They're working at the police station. They're working at the hospital. They're working at the school. They're everywhere, man. We really have to be diligent in outing these people. I really think we should. I mean, that's one. I mean, I am not again, let me just preface. I have lied in my life. I've done little fraudulent things, going back to school, going back to forging my parents' signature, right? I'm not a perfect guy. I've sent people to the hospital that punched in the face and they've had to like get stitches and stuff. I've hurt people, you know what I mean? Like they had it coming. It's never, I don't just not run around playing the knockout game. But I mean, if people think that they're just dealing with a wuss, no. I mean, I've had my share of fights I've been in and stuff. I'm not scared to throw down. But when it comes to that's one thing, and I think even in jail you'll see that that's the one thing, like people that hurt kids, you're gonna get yours. You hurt a kid, you exploited a kid, you're gonna get yours. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just saying it's a common law. kind of thing. But I'm with you. It is so disturbing how many, like, you go on the Megan's Law website and see that they're just freaking everywhere. And Homeboy is just going to be another red dot living in Vegas or wherever he lives. He's just going to be another red dot. But he'll never work around kids or get a chance. And if somebody wanted to look him up, he'll be right there and he'll have the shame of that for the rest of his life. And I ain't going to stop till that happens, buddy. It's happening. It's coming for you. You know it. TikTok, motherfucker. Jerome, absolutely true. Yeah. Tina says, that's good. She's probably talking about my amp. And that is good. Woo, Greg Simmons, physical exercise is good. Spiritual exercise is better. Jesus saves sinners. God bless you, Eric. Well, hey, if Jesus is going to save my life, he's welcome to. I do have a higher power. I definitely have no doubt in my mind that the planet we live on was intelligently designed, that each one of us was intelligently designed. Our DNA that our families passed down were intelligently designed. I do think it's kind of a Truman Show that we're living in. I do. That speaks to me, that idea of it. People love to make fun of me for different beliefs I'm open to. One of them is that this may be an enclosed system that we're living in. You know, that would be amazing. I could tell you that we should have all been in outer space by now. If all that was legit, we should have been on our own little... I mean, when you look at the Wright brothers, you know, and what was that? The very early 1900s, right? That were flying. And you just think if they went from there to within 60 years, allegedly going to the moon, in another 60 years, the way that science works, it gets exponentially, you jump leaps and bounds. It starts to be exponential. And there is no reason why we all wouldn't be going to the moon at this point. And there would be a hotel on it or Mars or whatever. It's all Hollywood. That's it. It's all Hollywood. And people get really mad. You can be a good American and call out these pedophiles that are in office, and you could be a good American and call BS on our tax dollars being stolen from us, and they're not delivering anything of value. It's okay for us to stand up and say no more. Stop taking our money and lying to us. And you know, now it's worse than ever, just with AI, CGI, all that stuff. I mean, especially with politics, you can't believe anything anymore that you're watching. I don't think we've been seeing any real leaders on TV anymore, even including Netanyahu. And I don't want to make this political. I mean, it's unleashed. The thing is, though, I say I don't want to make it political, but that's what Friday nights are. Like, maybe you want to hear what I think about stuff. I could tell you that you don't have to worry about me being on a certain side politically, because I'm not on either one. I have not voted in decades. When I was young and naive, I did, but I'm not on the left or the right. So you're not gonna pigeonhole me into a corner on this. You know what I mean? But I recognize that I'm an American. I recognize the Bill of Rights. I want to contribute to my country, however I can. Whether it's stimulating the economy by traveling with my circus of bandmates, and people get hired and people come to the show and they go out and they have fun and money's spent and parking's paid for and drinks are bought, the tickets are bought. A venue has people coming to it and can now stay open. I like contributing to all the states that way, to go everywhere and stimulate the economies where all you guys live. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to share whatever, my entertainment. You know what I mean? I consider myself to be an entertainer, especially doing stuff like Frightbite. I hope that you get some laughs out of that, because there is a lot of dark shit in the world. So Tuesdays, Count Cracula don't want to talk about politics. You know what I'm saying? He wants to talk about serums and missions. You know what I mean? He wants to turn into a werewolf. I mean, he wants to do funny stuff with Dahlia and just make you guys laugh. And that's like my contribution there for those of you that can't get out and go see shows. You're going through a hard financial time. I want you to be able to look forward to Tuesdays having some laughs with me and Dahlia. That's what that's about. All of us can contribute to our country somehow. You know what I mean? And it doesn't make you un-American to criticize leadership. It doesn't. That's what makes you American. Don't you get it? And there was a time where all hell broke loose over a 10-cent tea tax, guys. And now we just let them just have their way with us. And I mean, if you're of family money and you're doing good for you. But the rest of us, the other 99% are struggling harder and harder because we're letting the government have its way with us. And we're just being victims of it. And there's a point where we all need to get together and say no more. No more of these pedophiles. No more of these long term. We need term limits in Congress. These Pelosi, all these people were an embarrassment to our country for a long time. And I don't know what we can do altogether. I myself am not going to change the world that way, so I don't even try. I know I can write some good songs. I can write some good guitar solos. I know I can show up and make lobby call. I know I can get to my flight like I'm supposed to. I know I can put on my tight pants. I know I can tune up my guitar. I know I could go out there and kick some ass with Steven and spread the good times that way. I know I'm funny. I know I have a personality. I could share that, but that's about it. If you guys want to talk a little bit about different things in life, it is a hangout. You know what I mean? So nothing's really off the table. I'll talk about anything, but I'm not making the whole show about it. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's about it. As we go, you guys will get a whiff of what I'm all about, but, let me see. Dale Groot. I like Blackberry Smoke. Well, they're a pretty known band. Unique Davis Sovereign. I believe that too, Eric. Yes. Well, I'm happy when I say things that, might resonate with you guys. I don't really have an agenda or anything. I get tired of seeing my fellow countrymen putting up with the same bullshit where it's like, voting, we're past that, guys. It's pitchforks and torch time. When are we meeting at Home Depot? Step number 1, these people that pulled these atrocities with COVID, we're coming for you first, and then the pedophiles or whatever. Whichever one, I'll be there. What time are we meeting up? You've heard of a 1 million man march? How about a 300 million man march and just put an end to it forever? T-Cuz, bro, stimulate my economy, sugar. That's right. I'm willing to stimulate all y'all's economies. Anyways. Dale Groot. I like bald vampires, but ones with hair are cool too. Yeah, Count Cracula's rocking a hair system. Just because he knew he's getting more big time and he doesn't like to be judged, you know what I mean? So he's just felt like this is, complimented his look and he's just all in on it, you know what I mean? There was a time where Count Cracula rocked a balder look and it didn't work. I don't know, something about his look now, Dahlia likes it, I can tell you that, but I don't know, it's just more like casual but cool, and with the suit and the hair, it just kind of works, and the glasses. I like where he's at, where that character's at right now. GM service. Eric, could you say some stuff about the drummer? I think his name is Joachim that played with Steven. Are you talking about Joaquin? Joaquin's a good drummer. He was like he had some bands he was in the 90s. One of them got signed. He was like our go-to guy for some years when we needed somebody. Like, we're like, oh shit, the show came up, we don't have a drummer, and like Joaquin was always cool like that. He was like, he just would go for it. He's just one of those guys. I know he's had some health issues in the past couple years, so we say some prayers for him and hope he's doing better. Very funny guy and good-hearted guy for the most part. Yeah. So, John Evans, really enjoyed Frightbite, and it was great to hear your anger at certain scumbags. Right there with you, buddy. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Well, I'm not. It's not an act. Like most of the time, I'm a pretty stony, chill guy that just wants everybody to hang out and laugh. That is not a freaking act. I mean, this is the 17th hangout with you guys, and that's me. I don't have much planned. I mean, obviously, I grabbed a couple highlight reels to play. I played you the new project song tonight because I like you guys, and I played you a little highlight of the fright bite because I'm trying to get more people to the fright bite party. But aside from that, I have no idea what I'm gonna say. I just kind of throw up the green screen so I could put the you know what this is actually? Like I used to joke that it was New York, but when I had AI do my background and I said, give me a penthouse 300 years in the future, like a Buck Rogers, time. And this is what it spat out. And I went, that's pretty dope. And so I don't know. I just chose this as my background. I see the word conspiracy in here and I like it. Travis, P of your base. I've gone down a lot of conspiracy rabbit holes. I've seen some evidence to show that there's pyramids in the U.S. and the giants from the Bible have been found too. Government doesn't want us to know. No, of course they don't. I think the CIA, I forgot, maybe one of you guys know who coined this phrase, but it was like, when everything the American people know or think they know is wrong, then we'll know we did our job. Right? I mean, if you're still watching mainstream news, you are allowing them to get to you. You're allowing them to first person get to you like that. I'm not saying I don't get some news. Reddit can be equally toxic. I mean, at least you could kind of subscribe to certain things that maybe are less harmful. But I noticed that they still propagate. There's still a lot of propaganda on Reddit, like where I'm not joined onto this sub, but I'm seeing the headline come down the thing because those headlines are very powerful. A lot of them, most of the time, they're 99.9% of the time, they're just BS. You know what I mean? But just seeing a headline kind of forms an opinion in your head, and they put enough of those headlines down. Next thing you know, you're starting to believe a narrative that's completely false. And next thing you know, you're supporting a war or something that probably shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? And that's how they do it. It's a brainwashing. It's subtle. You don't really notice it as it's happening, but as you're tuning in to watch specifically the news, whether it's like CNN or Fox, definitely one's not the right one, one's the bad one. They're both terrible, guys. They are. If you're watching that, like, it's sad. My stepdad, listened to CNN, and that pretty much killed him. I mean, he thought he was doing the right thing and making the right decisions, and it was sad to see him parked in his wheelchair at the very end of his life, parked in front of CNN, and now he's dead. You know what I mean? Like, you got to listen to me. Stop making your life decisions based off the mainstream news. It's over. They are the government, and they're there to just scramble your brains, and can't let them do it. I mean, it also sucks that whole "Make America Great" phrase, because it would be awesome to make America great, and there's certain things that we got to do in order for that to happen, and it's pretty much a big purge of a lot of these old timers that have been just committing crimes against the people in the world. But I like that America's been a superpower. I don't want to see us become a third world country either. You know what I mean? I love America. I have no intentions of living anywhere else. I was born in New Jersey, baby, and I'm an American. Okay, I'm not going anywhere. And I, as I said, just like I want to see all you win, I want to see America win too. I'm not hateful against America. There's specific people that are holding office I don't like. You know what I mean? And they're not good for us. But there's also the realization that they don't even let you be in office unless you're playing ball. You know what I mean? Anybody who actually is going to make a difference, you know what I mean? But that's why I feel like as American people, we really got to band together more often and really, say no more on certain things. You know what I mean? I know there's so many bad things. We got to pick one to start with, and I think the first one we got to pick is the COVID, just because it killed so many people and it was so nefarious and evil. I think we should stop before we go any further. Go back about 5 years and throw all those people in prison, and even to the point where we're not showing up for shit until that happens. You know what I mean? Where the public pressure just begins to be too much and they start having to sacrifice themselves. That's what I want to see. Same with these jabronis at the other channel. I'm not gonna pretend like nothing's happened. He's trying to do that. He's trying to pretend like everything's just fine and he hasn't been totally outed. That's not gonna work, buddy. I'm not gonna rest till he's on the Megan's Law website. That's just a fact. Now, at the same time, I have to keep my job too. You know what I mean? So I'm not all about, just like I couldn't keep him on my timeline. I'm like, I'm moving forward. I'm a representative of the other bands. They don't want all this drama around, and you can't blame them for that. We're ready to move forward, period. So hopefully my life can move forward. One part of that, old boy, I'm on that Megan's Law website. Let's see. James Club. Were you able to partake in the backstage parties in the 80s and early 90s? If so, was it all it was cracked up to be? No, sir. I'm 53 years old, so I was not backstage. I was backstage at Irvine Meadows for Ratt, LA Guns. I think that was in the early 90s, I guess. So no, in the 80s, I don't recall. I was still a little young. In the 90s, I played locally in San Diego. There were just regional shows here. And for the first 5 years that I was playing in clubs, I was too young to even get in the club. I was 17 years old when I started playing here in San Diego at places like the Bacchanal that isn't around anymore, and the Belly Up. Belly Up's still around. But I was too young. So for like 5 years of playing here, I would have to stand outside. And then when it was time for our band to play, the security would escort me directly onto the stage. And that went on for 5 years. Then finally I was 21. And then the bands I was in, I was bouncing between Voodoo and then 13A, which were the Asphalt Ballet guys. And that kind of took me to the end of the 90s. And I got my gig with stephenpearcy in 2001. So that was my first experience with being in a national act and the whole tour bus thing and the whole backstage. And yes, I partook. Like I said, I am not a white knight. I'm not like a perfect guy, but I can say all the crazy times I've had were with women my own age. You know what I mean? And I was already like pushing 30 when I got into Steven's band. I think I was like 27 turning 28 or 28 turning 29. So at that time, anybody that I had fun with was my age. That was fun. But now here we're like 25 years down the road. Oh my God, everybody's old now, including me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, my age group are probably the youngest people that I see. Like people at the shows, like maybe late 40s, early 50s are the youngest people I see at a Piercy show. But when I first joined the band, there was people my own age still going. We were young teenagers when Ratt was huge. So that's who was going, right? So I would see that, but I was never like, there was never young teens at our shows or anything like that. I never had to like ask for an ID from like somebody to hang out with them. You know what I mean? It was like a non-issue. But yes, I've partied so hard and done all kinds of drugs, women. I did it for decades. You know what I mean? And then you just get to a point where, for me personally, I just felt like I was just giving myself away. You know what I mean? I just felt like, you know what, man, you're worth more than that. Don't act like a piece of trash. You know what I mean? And I just kind of started respecting myself a little more. And that's it. I just kind of grew out of it, if you will. And then also watching alcohol destroy lives of people around me, it started to just be a bummer. One of the best things was when Steven first started getting sober and we started taking the booze off the rider, because we used to have bottles of whiskey on there, cases of beer and vodka, all this stuff all the time. And We really drank a lot, man. I was trying to keep up with Frankie and Steven, and woo, I can see in pictures where I was just like alcohol bloated, and it's rough. Like my life's so much better now that I rarely drink. I think I did have 2 beers at rehearsal yesterday because it was Pomona. It was like 90 degrees, and we had a pretty good rehearsal. And it was, I mean, that's if you're somebody who can have 2 drinks and stop, you're probably not an alcoholic. And I don't consider myself to be an alcoholic. So I was able to have those 2 beers. I probably won't drink another thing for probably when I play with those guys on the road. Maybe after I'll have a celebratory Coors Light, possibly with them, but maybe not. I can tell you when I'm out with Piercy, I don't drink at all, and I don't need to. That was a weird transition. I'll tell you, when I was used to all the Piercy shows I had done being completely, probably 5 times over the legal limit, hitting the stage, whether when we were with Frankie and those things. Like I was only used to being buzzed and going out there. So when we stopped doing that, maybe 10 years ago or something, it was a weird transition to all of a sudden go sober up there. I was a little more nervous leading up to it. I used to get kind of that liquid courage, a little bit to go out in front of all these people, you know what I mean? And, now I'm just so accustomed, it's not even a thing anymore. You know what I mean? And I don't even, I got to make sure I don't even smoke too much, before I go out there. I want to like make sure I'm clear-headed enough to hit the stage and do the job I'm being paid to do, right. And that's the most important thing. And also you realizing how fortunate I am to even have the job at all. When you think about how many people know how to play guitar, dude, there are so many amazing guitar players out there, but it doesn't mean that they're amazing for this band. You know what I mean? Everybody's kind of different, their styles. And then you get down to the inner workings of a human being, like their personality. I've heard it said, Jimmy said this in the project, they liked me because they were looking for somebody that's also a good hang. That was his, quote. And I'm like a cool person to be around. I'm definitely a band guy. I'm not out there, doing solo shows with myself. You know what I mean? I'm not that great of a singer. I can sing backups, but I consider my strength to just be a member of your band. I'll play lead guitar, rhythm guitar. I don't care as long as I get to be up there with you guys. You know what I mean? We're a band. We're going to do this as brothers. You know what I mean? And go entertain some people. But at the same time, I need to always do the best I can do. I have to keep investing in myself. I spend a lot of money on equipment for the tours. I mean, just last year I had spent like $2,000 just to get like in-ear monitors and a whatever transceiver thing for it. Buying an iPad, to control it. But these are things that that's the way music's being done. A lot of people are on in-ears these days, so it was just kind of an investment for me because obviously I'm almost 20 years younger than Steven. When he does finally retire, I could still go out and do this for a while, and maybe I'll be offered a gig, and that's how they roll. They want you to be on in-ears. Well, I'm ready to go. I spent that $2,000 back in the end of 2024, you know what I mean? And that's covered. It's paid for, you know what I mean? But I have like personally, like I'm the last person you want to sue because I have literally no assets. You know what I mean? Like I don't own a home. I rent a room out of this place from Susan. I have a car that has 130,000 miles on it. I can't really call that an asset. Like what's that worth? And I need it to get to my work. And then I got my clothes and I got my guitars. I got the guitars are my tools. So it's no different than if I was a construction worker and I got a hammer and a screwdriver. Like if I need to do some Nashville shit, I got my Telecaster. If I got to do some 80s rock, I got my Charvel. If I just got to do some rock, I got my Les Paul. They're all like tools in my tool chest to create music, which is how I earn a living. So that's not something somebody can take away from me. You know what I mean? That's like, if you sue a guy, you're not going to take his work tools. I don't know. He won't be able to earn money to pay you. You know what I mean? Like, so it's costly to sue people, and I've been sued. I'm not saying I haven't, man. It's not my first rodeo. I've been sued before, and they didn't win, and then you countersue, and then your team sues them, and you get paid. You know what I mean? There's a lawsuit going on right now with a huge company. You know what I mean, that I'm involved with. That's part of life sometimes. You know what I mean? But generally, if you're going to go after somebody for something they said, you don't want to use the frivolous lawsuits to control people. You know what I mean? To threaten lawsuits on people just because you don't like what they're saying, or these kind of things. Like, I'm pretty fast and loose with you guys with my opinions, but I am in no way saying anything that I can't back up with evidence. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I have folders of evidence, so I'm not really worried about it. That would be in a way, I kind of want to be, you know what I mean? Just so I can finally publicly put all this stuff out. So I'm like secretly hoping I do, you know what I mean? But I know it's not, because it's just a house of cards going on over there. And I went up and pulled the fucking bottom card, and it's just you're just watching it free fall right now. Jim Martinez, what's up? Jim saying, I checked out tickets for the Tulare gig. The venue is outside, gig on the grass. Looking forward to it. Yeah, that's with LA Guns, right? That's going to be badass. Very much so looking forward. I hope you can go. If I could get you a pass, buddy, I will. If it's all ages, take your boy. Let me see. Am I missing it? We're kind of running towards the end here, but I don't even know how many. Oh, we got some peeps here tonight still hanging in. John Evans, the Count enjoys afternoon frightbite. Dahlia is truly a delightful co-frightster. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm going to tell her that you said that. No, she loves the frightbite. And it was just magic, that it was like 2 weeks before I was thinking about putting the frightbite on this channel. I just saw her and I go, would you want to do this with me? And I can't believe she said yes. And I'm like, so flattered that a goddess and a professional actress, somebody has credits and, has something to offer, got involved with this. Like, it probably wouldn't have gone this long, you know what I mean? But she's there, just like this last episode, she's like, I want to go all out for this. Like, I wouldn't have probably gone all out for it. I'm not Irish, you know what I mean? But she inspired that episode, and I didn't want to let her down, because this lady is like, put in a lot financially into the show. She's invested in all kind of stuff. She is emotionally invested into it. She's financially invested into it, and I appreciate all of that. She's done some wonderful things for me too. The camera you're watching me on, I wouldn't have tonight if it wasn't for her. My old camera took a crap, and she sent this one out the next day. Like, she's a good-hearted person, in addition to being obviously my co-host to the show. But I love her so much. I love her family, and we're gonna do this, and it's cool you guys are part of it, watching it grow. So thank you to everybody who gets it and has been showing up to it. Travis, we have but it's sloppy for us. But that just means the government has it so much longer and perfect. They release it to us old technology. I bet they have actors who wear a mask of sorts. Yeah, I see a lot of those masks are pretty trippy out there. Those kind of, I see them advertised. If it's anything like the masks that, this is this is one of the masks that Robbie had let me for the last episode. But man, just having something like this on my face for like a minute, I'm ready to die. I can't even breathe. It's just so hot. The CGI and the AI is no more masks. You know what I mean? And when I think about all the Hollywood people that are dying suddenly now and getting turbo cancer and dying, Hollywood doesn't care, because they've already like cloned them in a way. You know what I mean? With AI, we always thought cloning was like, in a laboratory, like actually growing a human being to grow up and be a clone of this other person. I mean, not that they couldn't probably do that, but that would take a long time, right? To grow a adult human. I mean, I don't think there's a way to speed the process up. You know what I mean? Where they're kind of at the limits of the world we're living in with science. You know what I mean? But when it comes to cloning, I think of it more like with AI or even with these amplifiers I was talking about earlier. They were able to Matt was able to clone my amp with this Tone X. And next thing you know, the amp's living in my other box. And they did this with Hollywood. This was a big point of contention recently, where actors were kind of making sure that they owned their likeness. You know what I mean? Because Hollywood could technically go, well, we paid you to be this character, and so therefore we own that character. You're Han Solo, well, we own Han Solo. And we cloned you, buddy, Harrison. We're gonna go ahead and Han Solo is gonna be around for hundreds of years, and you're not even gonna get paid for it because the studio owns that character, you see. And so as far as these Hollywood people that are dropping dead, they don't care. They have them completely AI'd. Their voice, their complete look, it's trippy, man. I mean, it used to be they have to put a bunch of gadgets all. Remember that when they put all the gadgets on and here I'm gonna dance around so you can make my AI guy dance around. They don't need that shit anymore. They don't need green screens anymore. I took a picture with Pump 5 at a rehearsal not too long ago. Those guys showed up. No shit. They put on their Facebook. All of us just all of a sudden just start waving. We just all started waving, and it looked pretty legit, man. It looked. I mean, that gentleman was just saying. It's like we're getting the cheap shit. You know what I mean? That's just just for funsies. You know what I mean? But it looked real. So they don't care, man. There's definitely an agenda to depopulate. They don't need us anymore. And I hear people say, oh, well, they need our money. No, they kind of have all the money already. The money we have is a pittance compared to what the elites have. They don't need us anymore. And they know that through automation, there's going to be a lot of people out of work. I mean, you're seeing it, they're talking about it now, but my guess is in the next 5 years, even people that were convinced that their job's still going to be around, probably not, doesn't need to be around, whether we decide to not. I mean, I always vote for not. I say this to young people too. You know what I mean? I'm like, why are you trying to grow up so fast? Why don't you enjoy being a kid? Why are you trying to be in complex relationships and geez, you just barely graduated. You know what I mean? Why don't you just enjoy your family and enjoy your friends and what's the rush? You know what I mean? Why are you rushing to grow up? Why, and I kind of feel like that with technology. Why are we in this mad rush to get to some point where people think that, oh, robots are going to do everything and we're just going to be given money? And that's not, I mean, maybe they're putting that idea in your head, but it's like the Ratt song, nobody rides for free. Okay, you're not going to be given some cush life and robots are going to do it all. They're going to trick you into dying. They're going to trick you into having a procedure done that's going to kill you in a couple years. You know what I mean? They cannot be trusted if you haven't learned that. Big pharma, forget about it, man. It's so obvious. You see the commercials that we're inundated with, where this laundry list of horrible things that you're going to potentially get to cure something that doesn't even sound as bad as that list of things. But people, and doctors especially, man, if it was up to me, they should have fired every doctor in the country, because every year there's a new doctor that's graduating and we can maybe start fresh and go, do you see what we just did to all these people? Did you just see Quincy, Grey's Anatomy, all these, I'm joking, of course, but all these doctors, they're all fired. Every one of them that told people to take that shot, not knowing what it was going to do to them, or knowing or not caring, their oath to do no harm, they all broke it. They all broke it because of Fauci, because he's at the top of the AMA and he told them, hey, you're going to lose your job. They should have lost their job. because if they knew who they were, their Bill of Rights, they would know that they were going to be able to sue, and they're going to be given all the money back that they lost. But they went ahead and they're like, oh no, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to kill all these unborn babies. I'm going to kill all these people. And I honestly, they should all be stripped of their medical license. I don't care if Fauci told them to it. As a human being, they have a right to do no harm, and they should have fired every doctor. I know that's a ridiculous thing. I'm not a super smart guy. I'm being over dramatic right now saying that. But not every doctor had somebody do that. It was more like the physicians and, clinics, and, that's where they really divvy out the most of those. You know what I mean? I don't know if, how, I don't know what OBGYNs were doing, but I mean, I know on the commercials they were trying to tell, they were telling pregnant mothers, hey, this one child died of COVID, allegedly, in this other part of the country. And so all the women in America that are pregnant need to take this so that one thing doesn't happen to them. Like, hearing that on the radio, and I was hearing it, I was driving back then because it was during the shutdowns, and I was like a essential worker because I was doing deliveries, and I would hear it on the radio, and I'm just going like, I didn't even graduate high school, but I know that a pregnant woman shouldn't take anything. Not even aspirin. And you're going to tell me that you're going to put some unknown substance? I mean, miscarriages have just, skyrocketed. I mean, and it's sad to me, but I know the overall agenda that they have to depopulate. And these are all things that was all part of it. They just tricked a lot of good people into doing this. And they manipulate. I hate predators that manipulate the minds of people. God damn it, they're the worst. And it's not your fault that it happened, but we have to recognize what happened, and we all have to agree we're never going to let this happen again, and we're not going to have fear used against us as a manipulation, because that is always the most powerful tool, is fear, to get people to cave. And the older I get, the less that fucking works on me, because I had a good life and I don't care anymore. It's like the Phil Collins song, I don't care anymore. I don't care what you say. I don't play the same games you play. I don't. And I'll die if I have to. I was ready to die a couple years ago when Biden was talking about sending people to my house door to door. I was ready. I didn't care about music anymore. I didn't care about anything. But we survived it. We're still here. We're all still here. I hope a lot of you guys got placebos, okay? But let's learn from history. Like Bob Marley says, you don't know the past, you're not going to know the future, okay? Let's remember, if we historically we could have looked back and known that this was a bad thing, but we let fear get the best of us, specifically the baby boomers. Holy shit. If you guys saw what I was dealing with doing deliveries at that time, one thing that sticks out in my head, besides the people that attacked me on the street physically for not wearing a mask or whatever, like, I'm in California. We have the nuttiest people around here when it comes to the left-leaning, just, wow. But I was making a delivery to these boomers, and they had a table. They were literally in hazmat outfits. The husband and the wife were both in hazmat outfits, and they had a table set out on the driveway, and they stepped back into the garage. And as I'm walking up wearing no mask, nothing, I'm just like pulled up, and I got their groceries that they ordered from Walmart, which that is a whole nother nightmare during that time, where delivery guys like myself, we had to like go to Walmart and literally wait like an hour to get the people to Walmart, because everybody was locked down, right? So everybody's ordering food from Walmart and places like that. So we would line up, it'd be like, I don't know, 40 cars of delivery people, and we'd have to sit there. And now we would get good tips, and there would be a bigger order. I think I was doing Postmates at the time, if I recall. And if you got one of those Walmart pickups, it was worth something, whether it was, with the tip, maybe $40 or something, 30 or $40, it was worth sitting around for the hour, right? Because then even if you had to sit there waiting to get the stuff, when you went and dropped it off, you knew you were going to get the 30 or 40 bucks for that hour. And when you're like doing jobs like that, you're kind of looking at it like on an hourly thing in a way. You're at least breaking it down. Like even if I was doing Lyft or Uber, like I'd figure out how much I spent on gas, what I put in, and what it broke down to see if it was worth it or which hours were better to work or whatever. You have to kind of be cognizant of those things. But anyways, going back to Walmart. So I finally get my shit and I'm like going to take it to them. And I get out of the car. I got the bags. They're in their hazmat outfits. They got the table. They're all, put it on the table. You know, like it was like a post-apocalyptic movie or something. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, God, my soul just wanted to cry for like what was going on in the world at the time. But I fucking put the bags on there. They have their bleach. They were bleaching their groceries, guys. They were bleaching their fucking groceries. Like that's what fear does. You know what I mean? Like to me, like when that whole thing started, I knew it was bullshit because I went, if this thing was that deadly, you'd see bodies everywhere. It would just be like the whole world would be over. You know what I mean? Like when the Black Plague hit back in the day, that was it for like half the population. You know what I mean? Like nothing is coming back on anytime soon if it was that bad. I knew it was BS. It had to be. It was just basing it on that alone. That none of us knew anybody that died. You know what I mean? Hello. It was basically just a big practice. It was just we call it a LARP. You know what I mean? Like a live action role play. It was just like, okay, everybody, let's pretend there's a super dangerous thing out there. This mask is gonna protect you, probably. It's embarrassing. Half of you guys watching this should be totally embarrassed of how you acted. But it's okay. I forgive you. You have to forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. You have to forgive you. Okay? You have to forgive you. And then we all have to get together and get on the same page and never fucking bend over for that kind of shit ever again. Okay? Even if it means not playing a concert. When I heard that, I was like, good. You know what I mean? Good. He knows it. The guy who put that in front of me knows who he is. And he knows how... I hope he took 8 of those fucking things. I really do. I really do. But that was one of my proud moments where I said no. And I don't care if I lose my gig in the Piercy band. I don't care. Little did he know Piercy and me had a pact that we weren't going to go that way anyway. We had our own little secret thing going on. You guys got to know we've known each other a really long time. Oh, unique. Yes, U.S. minorities learn the truth. Yeah, I would say black folks knows what's up because there's horrible things that have been done to them throughout American history and still happening today with poisoning areas that they live. I mean, everything from putting lead in their areas in the water to just the drug epidemics that they piled into certain neighborhoods. It's very sad, you know what I mean? But it doesn't define our country. You know what I mean? At some point, we can identify who did this and how detrimental it is, and just do make sure that changes are made so that the America of the future doesn't have those same problems. And I know it's scary, you know what I mean? Because it is scary when you think about cartels coming to get you, chopping your head off, and people threatening you. It's scary when you think you're alone. But you think they're going to do that to 300 million people? They can't. I mean, one of the coolest things I heard in the shutdowns was when who was the one senator? I'm forgetting his name. Who was like the one guy that was like going against it, and he kind of made a plea. He's like, look, they can't stop all of us, guys. And it was the truest thing that he said. He was like, look, yeah, maybe they could scare you into doing something, or they could scare your office at work. They can't take us all on. They have to, if you break down the word government, right? Govern is to control. Ment means mind. It's all mind control. All their power lies in the manipulation and the fear tactics that are used, and a whole shit ton of laws and stuff. But I mean, some of it's a necessary thing. Like, I agree to be a part of a society, and in order to do that, we all have to agree that we got to put in some money to keep our streets safe. I'm not saying there should be no taxes for anyone, sure, but it's just we've been so taken advantage of in that regard. Like there shouldn't be income taxes. I mean, sure, I'm okay with like paying a small tax on whatever, you know what I mean, so that we could have a good police force, which we have to have a good waste sewage management. We have to have good city planners. We have to have infrastructure. These things cost money. You know what I mean? Like the country, in order to run, is going to need a certain amount of taxes, but that's being abused. And they're using this money mostly for nefarious shit. Okay. And we just need to slow down. Let's not be in such a rush into the future where we're getting to where nobody has a job available to them. I don't know, man. Here I am. I'm trying to change the world on a Friday night. But I just, if I could just convey that, to just stop being such a wuss. Who cares if you get fired? Who cares? Then the job wasn't worth it. Or if somebody's not going to be friends with you anymore, then their friendship wasn't worth it. Anything I'm saying tonight, I in my heart believe is for the greater good of all of us. But please don't put me on a blue team or a red team, because I am literally, I mean, I had to pick something for DMV. I put libertarian, but that doesn't mean shit. They're never going to hire a libertarian. I know that. You know what I mean? But I just had to go, hey, I'm not part of the two-party system personally. I'm just there to let you guys know that. Li Ming saying, just do the best you can, right? If you do the best you can, you did the best you could. Right, Li Ming? Johnny Ponder, Mercury Ballroom in Kentucky was a great show last year. Yes, I love the Mercury. That was an awesome one. Li Ming, no one is perfect. No one! So don't worry, Eric. You're a nice guy. I could tell. Keep being you. Oh, well, thank you, Li Ming. And I'm very pleased that you're part of the show now. Your posts have all been positive, and I appreciate that. And I hope you keep coming back. Steve Mundy. Hello, Eric. Can I hear that DLR? Oh, yes, you can.
Sexy times.
Oh, sorry. That was a sexy times. I meant to give you a... There you go, my friend. And what else could I throw in there? Is there any drops I didn't do tonight that you guys like? How about
my case, toilet face.
some Welcome Back Cotter ones?
Up your nose with a rubber hose.
Up your nose with the rubber hose. That's right. Oh man, I almost deleted Jerome. Jerome, you are not very intelligent if you get your information from AI and don't fact check. Right. I mean, one thing everybody should do is take a course in recognizing AI. You know what I mean? I've fallen for stuff myself, and it scares me to think of how easy it is to trick naive people. I'm because I've kind of worked with AI a little bit. I've begun to recognize when I'm looking at a photo that's totally AI, and they're so good at it, man. They could make it look like you're looking at a photo that's 40 years old. It just has that kind of faded look to it, and you could go back, God, they've had film and cameras going on since the 1800s, a couple hundred years. They could fake all that so easily now in just a second, boom, and change history, right? I mean, they could make up a whole fake history and teach it to a whole new generation, and no one would know. They go, hey, we saw the pictures, man. Yeah. It's scary. And just to take that thought a step further, I've mentioned this before, a director that I enjoy his movies, not just because the movies are good or bad or whatever, but just more the message, the buried message in the subtext, and are the M. Night Shyamalan movies. And The Village is a prime example of this. If you've seen the movie, M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village, the premise of the movie is that these elites wanted their kids to be away from the bummers of modern society and the crime and everything. So they decided they'd pay off air traffic and pay off all the state people to have an area where they would raise these families, but they would deceive them and make them think that they were living in like the early 1800s or something like that, that they were living, before electricity. They were just a simpler time, if you will. And the way that it's an interesting movie because they had a character in there that actually wore a monster outfit and would go around and scare and used fear, right? Fear to control the people, to keep them from wandering into the forest. They didn't want them to ruin the experiment, basically, and go beyond the border that they had set up. So they had to do that by creating a fake monster in the woods that would get them. And that's kind of fascinating. We could say the monster is whatever in our modern day society, but the point is these people didn't know any better. You know what I mean? They truly believed they were living in that year, which is fascinating. Like, it makes you stop and think, like, what year are we really living in? How far back can you trace? Are you sure that you could trace back your own family tree? You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe my great-great-grandparents, maybe. I don't know. I mean, did my great-great-grandparents have their great-great-great-grandparents traced? Who knows? Who knows what happened, in history? I mean, it seems like people can agree on maybe the last few thousand years, maybe, that there's enough artifacts or whatever found that they can feel like are pretty certain that things are happening the way they were. But there's a lot of truth. Somebody mentioned it earlier, pyramids or whatever. There's a lot of buried truth. Not to mention that maybe biblically some of the stuff was true also. The Tower of Babel is a pretty amazing story where allegedly, technology had reached a peak hell a long time ago, and humans decided they were going to build a tower that went up to the heavens so they could smite God. See, you couldn't keep us from getting to you, or like they took it as like it's like they figured out that the planet was some kind of enclosed system, that this was like not an organic situation, and so they all banded together. And not only that, they apparently like used way too many resources to build this tower. They just scoured everything to make this, and they built it and got up there. And long story short, God destroyed the tower, and that's when he created the races and different languages. He basically, it's kaboom, and everyone just scattered and went with whoever they could understand, and they're the same colors and whatever. And that's, the world kind of went on from there. You know what I mean? So everything that happened before that was just pretty much freaking buried. You know what I mean? I doubt that it was like the Wright brothers really built the first plane. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure thousands and thousands of years ago, somebody was looking at a bird and saw feathers on the ground and took it from there, or like gluing feathers on and trying to see if that worked. I don't know. I'm just assuming, but we'll never know. We'll never know the true history. I don't really believe history as it's told. I mean, I know the history that I lived. I know the last 50 years. I could say, well, yeah, that did happen, or that didn't happen. I could tell you that everything that happened, they lied about the circumstances, and it was a lot of propaganda throughout all of it, and a lot of changes were made in my lifetime with laws and things that kind of keep us down a little more than we already are. I mean, I don't know, man. We can keep this as a place where we have ideas. I know, back to the music. Most of you guys appreciate me for the musical side, and that's what you're going to get the most of. And I'm happy that this coming month in April, it'll be back to the music. But from time to time, I don't mind having an interesting conversation with you guys. It's all stuff to think about, I mean, here we are today with technology and science, to where we can go everywhere on the planet now, and we're all connected. And is it easier? Is it easier like that? Almost not, right? I mean, it's almost like our differences can be a problem sometimes, depending on where we're from, or what our ethnicity is, or languages we speak. I don't know. It's maybe were we meant to all be together one time? I don't know. I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, there's places I wouldn't even visit because I wasn't designed to live there. You know what I mean? Like, I could get bit by a mosquito there and die. You know what I mean? Like, I know I was born here in North America and I'm probably safe to continue on, but I'm not in a big hurry to like check out every corner of the earth. Let me see. John Evans. I got to see Phil's tour for that album. Freaking amazing. Skin Beater. Yeah, Phil Collins. He was a amazing artist, and I feel bad for him that he's not doing that great. It's sad to see these people at the end, but at the same time, you know, Phil Collins like ruled the 80s and part of the 90s. You know what I mean? These guys had a really great life. Most of the people that we grew up listening to had a pretty awesome life, and you can only feel so bad for those people. It's like, you know, for those of you that've been to funerals, right? I mean, when a young person dies, it's freaking tragic. They're robbed of their life, and they have like, all these people show up and, you know, comfort each other, and you're just broken. But then you got your old people that die. It's like, okay, let's wrap it up. It's like the shortest funeral ever. Okay, we have some tea and cookies over there. You know, it's like, dude, they lived. If you make it to like 80 years old, you really should just be thankful. I mean, especially in modern times, there's just, you know, a million ways to die. Choose one, right? I mean, Bobby B, you're 100% right. COVID was a practice run to see who would comply and get jabbed up. Yeah, apparently most of us, but I don't even believe that. When they throw out those numbers, hey, you know, 80%, I just don't. It's like I know too many people personally that didn't for those numbers to add up. Again, that's just more lies. That's just more propaganda to make you seem like you're the odd man out. What do you mean? 90% of the whole world took it. Well, except for the government and everybody that worked at Pfizer. Like when you go on and you see all these people they didn't get it, and then you go, well, this can't be right. Of course it's all bullshit. I don't believe anything anymore. I was naive. There was a time where I too was naive, where I go, you know, I'm not going to listen to any BS words on the street. I'm going to get the official government CNN version, you know, and I laugh at it now saying that, you know, knowing what I know now. I mean, it seems like that's the reasonable, sensible thing, but that's the last place you should be getting your information from. Jerome saying, I knew someone whose dad died from COVID, but probably had health problems. I got COVID and it was like a cold. Yeah, same here. I mean, it was a scary cold. I'd never had a cold where I lost my sense of smell for that long. You know, there was definitely something going on there. It was like, it's definitely a man-made. I mean, that's the other thing people haven't accepted, was that it was a man-made virus, you know, that Fauci was involved with. And the NIH funded that lab in Wuhan. But like, I'll tell that to my mom, and she doesn't even. She's like, "What?" She's like, "I might as well be speaking another language to her." She has no idea that actually happened, because why? They didn't say it on the news, so it can't be true. But it is true. It is true. They made you get tested. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I did the test. I wasn't happy about it. I mean, I'm sure it's not good to get. There's probably graphene oxide on that freaking swab thing. There was 2 times I got a test. One was when it was like the end times, and you had to pull your car up, and they had the hazmat people and stuff, and they're coming up, and I was like, you know, I'm worried they're gonna poke my brain. I wouldn't even let them get too far up there. But that it said I didn't have it, and I couldn't smell. I was sick. How could this test? That was another thing. I knew the test was just not a real test. You know what I mean? It wasn't an accurate test because I was sick, but they were saying I didn't have it. Susan said positive. I did keep her from getting that, but she still doesn't thank me for that. She's still just like, whatever. She doesn't realize. But anyways, Rat and Roll. Much love, Eric. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Surf Ballroom, Jake. Surf Ballroom was a great show last year too. That's a super dope place too. Richie Valens, Big Bopper, sadly played their last show there, but there's like a nostalgia to that place. It's like, man, they built stuff better in the 50s, you know, or 40s or whatever. Like, it's all original in there. Like, you could see that it's like you're walking into a time machine. Like you're walking back into the 50s just being at that place. But it's pretty cool, man. I recommend seeing a show there if you haven't, just to check it out. Scuff KM. Have you heard the new Cactus featuring Dee Snider and Tracy Guns doing Little Red Rooster? No, I have not. I have not. I mean, that sounds cool if those guys got together to do it. I'll check it out. Rat and Roll. Don't forget us in upstate New York. Cold here now, but summer concerts would be great. Rat and Roll. Hell yeah. John Evans, love M. Night. That movie was a trip. Freaking interstate out past the forest of the tree line. Yeah, and who was able to escape? The blind girl, the one that wasn't, you know, that relied on other senses, right? Was the one that escaped out of there. Another M. Night movie that I thought was important, that's not a very popular one of his, is the movie Old. And it's not really, it has a little bit of comedy relief in it, but it's not really a feel-good movie. It's basically just points out to how ruthless Big Pharma is if you look into it. But not to spoiler alert, but the basic premise is Big Pharma is always working on new stuff, you know, new concoctions. They came up, they would have intel on, like, probably from doctors' offices or whatever, like what people had certain syndromes going on, whether they had diabetes or they had you know, they were what do you call it? People that like have what do you call that when you go into a trance? You know, you're like a seizure, like one of the characters suffered from seizures and stuff. But they basically made this fake contest to where they gave these families like a free vacation to this island getaway. And they're thinking, oh, that's cool. But they didn't realize that they were actually picked for a reason. They were picked because of their medical history. And basically this movie, there's this strange, like, paranormal occurrence that happens on this island where anything in range of this certain area just ages. On a cellular level, just ages super fast, which is terrible, right? I mean, it's like, you know, 2 minutes is like, you know, I forgot what it was, but it's like 2 minutes is like 12 years. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy. Like, basically in about the span of 1 or 2 days, all these people on this that were sent here are going to be dead because their life is going to be. But for Big Pharma, they're able to kind of see how their drugs are going to work over a long period of time without having to actually wait 10 or 15 years to see what happens with side effects. They could trick these people into going to this island, and it's funny, they give them like a big picnic basket. They're like, wow, we don't need this much food. We're just going, no, you're going to need it. And then they send them down there, and they're kind of watching with Big Pharma's like watching with binoculars from up above. And then the craziness of the movie ensues, where you actually see these kids growing up fast, and then one of them has sex with the other girl, and they have a baby, and it's born like 2 hours later, and like it gets crazy. And then one guy is getting old, he's getting dementia, he goes nuts, he starts trying to kill other people in the group, and at the end of the thing, the kids do escape. Spoiler alert, they do escape, and they're adults now, even though they got the brains of a 9-year-old. They do manage to escape, and they kind of cut to the pharmaceutical company, and at the end, and the head guy he goes, everybody, can I have your attention? Like, they're all with their beakers working in the lab with different, stuff from the rainforest or whatever trippy chemicals they're working with in there. He says, everybody, let me get your attention. Sometimes our job's sad because, we lose people while we're trying stuff out. And I just want to say that, Mary here, she went the equivalent of 40 years without having a seizure from our concoction. And everybody just starts, woo, they're like clapping and cheering in the pharmaceutical. I mean, this woman in the movie dies. She like, yeah, she might have gone 40 years without a seizure, but at the end, she's foaming at the mouth and it killed her. You know what I mean? It's like, and big pharma to me is like that. Like they have some, maybe a band-aid for your ailment of whatever it is, but god damn it, the side effects could totally kill you, or it's causing like serious liver damage or something over time where, yeah, you might not have that problem for 10 years, but you're going to have a way worse problem in a decade from now. And I kind of consider that stuff, as a guy with heart issues, they try to put me on all kinds of crazy medications for this. I mean, I realize, as you guys know, I could be a little high spun. Some people thought I was on cocaine or something doing this. I'm not. In fact, like with the medications I'm on, they told me that they're like, you cannot do cocaine. You are on beta blockers. You'll die if you do that, by the way. And so I was told that I can't even joke around with that. I do drink coffee, and sometimes I do get a little coffeeed up. But one of the cholesterol medications they were giving me, I started hearing about bad stuff with that. Like our brains are mostly made of cholesterol, and I started hearing that, yeah, this thing might be a wonder drug as far as keeping your cholesterol levels like way down. And I remember I was getting kind of strong armed into it because I had some questions, and the doctor was like, no, shut up. There's nothing, no amount of diet or exercise is going to do what this pill does. And he kind of, I even got that because I'm pretty intuitive, and I got a vibe. I didn't like where he was going with that. I could just sense, like, I know they get kickbacks for prescribing this certain stuff, which that is something we could demand stops. That doctors cannot profit from big pharma to push specific drugs. We got to put a stop to that, whatever it takes. But I come to find out that people that are taking big doses of this for a long time are getting like early onset dementia. And that would make sense, because if it's lowering the cholesterol and your brain's mostly cholesterol, your brain's not getting enough of that, it could affect your cognitive, self, and they're telling me to take it at night. They had me on 80 milligrams, which is like a lot, dude. And it was affecting me. Like, this was like, what, 2023, 24? I was like leaving my guitar outside of the hotel room door. I was barely getting through in some levels. And I think it had something to do with that, because I made a lifestyle change a few months ago where I lost 25 pounds, and I've been trying to, be better with my food habits and stuff. And I feel a lot better. I stopped taking that cholesterol pill altogether. I do still take my blood pressure meds. There's and I take a baby aspirin or something, but I stopped taking those big ass 80 milligram things. And what I'm going to do, I'm not trying to be irresponsible, but I know what my blood work was when I was on them. I'm going to have my blood work checked in a couple months, and I want to see if it's anywhere close to the same. I'm going to know that I was smart to trust my instincts. You know what I mean? If it turns out that my cholesterol has now skyrocketed to a dangerous point, maybe I'll consider going back on it at a lower dose. But I know you shouldn't play games with your health, but I have lost faith in the medical industry. I've lost faith. I feel like our doctors are just compromised, and they're just going through the motions of forcing these drugs onto people, when there might have even been a time when higher cholesterol levels were acceptable. And in fact, I've seen evidence that people that were living the longer in life had high cholesterol. Like they were actually living to their 90s, but they don't want us living to our 90s, guys. There's no benefit to having old people in a society if you're trying to be profitable, because especially if you're they're retiring at 65. What do they want to just pay these people to sit around till they're 120? No, they want you dead. They want you dead at like 72. They don't want you not collecting Social Security to 67. They want you to be collecting money for 5 years tops. They want you dead. And if you're trying to control the population, you've got to get rid of them. Pollute women so they can't have kids. You know what I mean? Cut birth rates down. Do whatever they can to cut those things down. I mean, they definitely are trying to actively, at least half the population, get rid of half of us. You know what I mean? I don't subscribe to that. I mean, I think as a guy who tours around, I see so much open land all over the country where I'm like, why are we just shoved into these places, man? God, if we spread out a little, we could all have such a better life. But I don't think they want that. Where am I going? At some point, we got to push back a little bit, man. I'm not saying, we got to keep our society together, and I'm not saying to do anything stupid, but just sometimes just a large mass of people making a presence could make a difference. So something to think about. Anyways, user Brian, dude, I like all your topics, mixing them up. It makes it more interesting. Thank you, sir. I wanted the Friday nights to kind of be like that. There's more to me than just playing a guitar, and there's more to each of you than just listening to Ratt or, whatever. You guys all have something to offer, and whatever you want to add to these Friday nights, please do. I mean, if it's, obviously I'm not a science major, political science major. I'm very, like, I don't have a high education level, but that's sometimes a good thing because you could probably relate to me, or I could relate to the common person a little easier, or maybe I could take something that's complex and dumb it down to a way that maybe if I explain it, it kind of makes more sense that way. So we'll see how it goes. But, if it makes you upset to hear about those things, I get it. You can ask me something that has nothing to do with that, and I'll try to go there with it. Rat and roll. Wife making me a butterball turkey burgers tonight for dinner. Very good and less cholesterol. I'm all about the turkey, sir. I do the same thing. I make turkey burgers. I've been going to Winco for the turkey, and I get like the 3-pounder. I think it might be Foster Farms. But it's like a 3-pound thing, and I get it for about 12 or 13 bucks, which that's pretty good, right? $4 a pound. You save a little bit of money that way. I'll like third it up into pounds, right? And I'll take 2 separate pounds and I'll put those in the freezer, and then I take the 1 pound for whatever I'm going to do with this for the next couple of days. And there could be a couple different things. Most recently I made sloppy joes, and I made the band laugh because Susan and I have an interesting relationship, but she's like notorious for like her text messages to me are like she doesn't mean them to be funny, but they're always like comedy gold. And when I was practicing at for the project up in Pomona last week, she had sent me a text that was hilarious. Basically, I had made sloppy joes out of turkey, which you can just ground fry pan up some of that turkey, and then just throw some pasta sauce in there, or some tomato sauce. You could do a sloppy joe packet or whatever if you need to, but even without it, it still tastes like a sloppy joe. And I had made sloppy joes last week, and she texted me at rehearsal, and she goes, "Hey, you might want to lay off the weed, or you might want to cut back on the weed because you put the sloppy joes up in the cabinet instead of the refrigerator. Now I have to throw them out. And could you clean your room? It's disgusting." And it was just funny. Like the whole band got a big laugh out of that because I was so high. Like instead of putting food back in the fridge, put it up in the cabinet. But it was some good ass sloppy joes. Like I don't use as much beef for that reason. I think lower cholesterol, lower fat. I got used to eating the turkey. I love a good steak. You know what I mean? But generally, like, cheap beef doesn't taste good to me anymore. Fast food burgers taste gross. It might as well be a human in there. It's just something about it just tastes gross to me. Like I'm not eating a cow. I don't know what it is. But I've kind of grown to appreciate turkey more. And yeah, part of my diet, a lot of turkey. Same when we do like a pasta night. She kind of taught me this. I never did it like this, but she's not Italian. But she does her pasta like this. She'll fry up the turkey and then add the pasta sauce, and then just put that whole thing on top of a bed of pasta, which is interesting. I mean, I grew up with like you have your meatballs and your sausage and then your pasta with some sauce on it, but this was her way, and I kind of got used to it. That's like one other thing we do with turkey. Sometimes I do an Asian style where I'll like, use some soy sauce in there and put some little green peppers and some other stuff, some what's that? I'm forgetting that one thing. Ginger, right? Ginger is a key and very good for you too. There's lots of different stuff you can do with turkey. Yeah, but as far as like I like a good steak, I because I'm not a rich guy, I have to wait till like Vaughn's or somebody's got some special on T-bones, like as soon as that price hits like $9 a pound, I get Susan and I a couple T-bones. You got to once in a while. And women, everybody needs a little bit of iron. Right. What's this saying? R. Jahar. Elon Musk got the test 4 times in a row. Result changed each time. Are you talking about the swab, the nose swabs? Yeah. They weren't. The guy who invented that test had a lot of interesting things to say about it. He was like, it wasn't meant for this, God, so much crime went on with that stuff. Oh, see, I know the show's got to come to an end because Jerome's going to bed. Good night, guys. And Eric, see, he's the one that lets me know when we've gone on for too long. I'll take a couple more here, and then we're going to wrap it up. Oh my God, this is another 3-hour show tonight. Holy crap. I take a garlic clove every few days, and I never get sick or have any symptoms. I feel better than when I was 20 years old. I don't get sick either. I mean, I've heard it's good to maybe get sick like once a year or a little bit. That it sounds counterintuitive, but I mean, if your body's working correctly, you should sometimes get a reaction to something and get a little cold or something. Is kind of normal. But since I quit smoking cigarettes, I never get sick. I mean, I didn't take any of those shots. I have never. It's maybe a year and a half ago I had a little cold, but certainly in the last 5 years, there's nothing that I've gotten that's required even NyQuil or something. You know what I mean? I haven't even had to like, oh my God. When I used to smoke cigarettes, I used to sometimes have to go and do something. I used to have to, I would go to Tijuana and get penicillin or amoxicillin that I would just keep because I had no medical insurance. And as a smoker, I used to get bronchitis and stuff, and that could turn deadly. You get pneumonia maybe or worse. So I would always have a bottle of amoxicillin. But since I quit smoking, that hasn't been an issue either. I never get sick, and I travel. My immune system gets a good workout going on airplanes. The airplanes are the worst for germs. You're just in a totally not concealed. What's the word I'm looking for? Contained. You're in this contained capsule just with the air is just recycled. So whatever everybody has, you're going to be exposed to it on that flight. Period. And people, I get it. I mean, some people get mad when they see somebody sick on a plane, but dude, I've been like that where I was on the road and caught a cold and I just want to get home. Like, what am I supposed to do? Go live here in this state for like all the money I just made for the show, I'm supposed to spend on a hotel to quarantine myself? Like, I get it. You know what I mean? You would hope that somebody maybe would consider wearing a mask if they're, coughing and sneezing all over the place. That would be a time where you might consider wearing such a thing. Or at least making sure you had something to blow your nose in with you, and if you're having some awful attack, go to the bathroom, or I don't know, you know where I'm going with this. Be courteous to other people, at least wash your hands a lot. But I expect on every flight that there's going to be somebody who caught something in the last 24 hours. John Evans, clean your room. It's disgusting. God, your bathroom. Yeah, it is. The problem is I only rent a room here, so like everything I own is in this room. I mean, there's like I don't know, 25 guitars, there's amps, there's stacks of amps. Then you got like my whole production stuff for the green screen and the lights and all that shit. Right now there's a mannequin over here that Dahlia left. It's Dahlia's mannequin, not mine, but it's like, oh my God, that thing's, but I got my clothes, everything. It's just always a mess in here because I always have some kind of artistic project I'm working on and I'm digging up and looking for stuff. And it's just hard. There's a time crunch working on these shows, getting ready to rehearse for these bands, learning these other songs and stuff. And I don't know, man. I'm Dr. Von Brainscan, actually, you know what I mean? And like, I'm just a mess. And sometimes I've heard that like Einstein-y kind of people are a mess. You know what I mean? That they're not always organized. I'm envious of all the people out there, you guys that are, everything's in the right place all the time and everything's totally clean all. I can't do it. I look like, my room looks like a hoarder's room. It's terrible. That's why I have to throw up a green screen and give the impression that I have a nice clean place. If you guys saw what it looks like behind here, you would laugh. Via extraterrestrial, where did they film Way Cool Jr.? Do you know? I would imagine they filmed it in a probably a warehouse in Hollywood, if I was to guess. Pool time with Ron. What's up, Eric? Oh, the cost of living, Ron. Go check out Pool Time with Ron's YouTube. Eric, have you and Steven ever considered doing a cover of Iggy Pop's Gimme Danger or Down on the Street? You guys would tear that up. Perhaps. It's, you know what's funny? It's like when Steven brings up doing cover songs, he picks like these kind of pop acts from like back in the like new wave bands and stuff. The three last covers I'd done for him, one was the Duran Duran, Girls on Film. He asked me to do Adamant, Dangerous but Not Serious. He asked me to do Sex Shooter from Apollonia. I don't know if he's going to do that one, but it's interesting, the ones he brings up doing or whatever. But we're always down to have some fun and do something like that. Anyway, as we're hitting the third hour, holy shit, I can talk, man. You know why? I used to be a telemarketer. I just do fucking 5-hour shifts where I just talk to people. That's where I get it from. It's not meth, I swear to God. Anyways, this was fun tonight for the most part, guys. I know we went over a lot of stuff, a lot of weird ideas out there got put out there tonight. But I appreciate all you that hung out tonight. It was a lot of fun. I'll be back next Friday as well. Be cool and be kind to each other.